Go Figure TV. Revolutionary salute. Revolutionary salute. Like, share, subscribe. Welcome to the House of Revolution. You know I'm your humble host, the the revolution that Lil Durk will tell everything he know. Or Smirky gonna get life. Be sure to wipe your feet. That means hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, support the platform, y'all, and let everybody know Core Figure Live. Peace alert, family. Let's get right into this information about Trap Lord Ross. All the rumors on the Durk murder for hire.
It was close to half a year since that fateful night when King Von lost his life trying to fight Quando Rondo. The moment Quando's close friend Lil Tim pulled the trigger, he set into motion a chain of events that would change their lives forever, with King Von being one of Chicago drill's most feared killers, as well as a popular rapper. This meant that Quando Rondo, Lil Tim, and everyone around them would have to defend against wave after wave of assassination attempts, all seemingly connected to the slain Chicago rapper. On April the 16th, 2021, Quando Rondo denied being shot at and told the world that he rides in a bulletproof truck. That same month, Quando's latest concert is announced on May the 1st, 2021 in Waycross, Georgia. After having his previous shows that were scheduled just weeks after Von's death cancelled, Quando was eager to show his fans, ops, and the world at large that he could travel the country and perform without incident. However, unfortunately for Quando, that simply wasn't true. On May the 1st, 2021, Quando Rondo plays the very show that he was booked to perform at in Waycross, Georgia. And here he's seen playing to an empty venue, complaining to the crowd that his shows are usually bigger than this, with Quando addressing the fans and still thanking them for coming out despite the low turnout.
I ain't gonna lie. Man, my shows really do, you feel me? People in this, but I know I got a lot of shit going on. You feel me? But I still appreciate everybody who came out. I'm gonna rock this bitch out like it's 10,000 people there. Come on, shit.
When these images and clips surfaced, Chicago affiliates of Von and Durk, like Memo 600, would mock Quando, saying that he must have made a loss on that show. But as the night went on, that show's turnout would be the least of Quando's worries, as him and his entourage would leave the venue after performing, driving to a Circle K gas station just 11 minutes away in the next town of Blackshear. At around 3:20 a.m. after that show, Quando and his team would be in the parking lot of a gas station convenience store in Blackshear, Georgia. Soon after arriving, somebody begun to open fire from across the road, with one man allegedly being hit in the hand and ending up in the hospital. Quando Rondo would flee the scene before authorities arrived. According to one report, over 100 bullets were fired at Quando's entourage during this incident. However, members of the public would arrive to the crime scene, beginning to film and posting the footage on social media, with the woman filming telling viewers that she was on the scene of the Quando shooting and saying that people had heard the gunshots from all the way down the street. And she would even walk right up to bullet markers where the shell casings had apparently been fired from, all the way up the street.
Oh my God, it is Quando, y'all. It's got to be. They talking about it was the rapper that performed at the Vibe, at the club. They talking about it was Quando. They heard it was, somebody had a bounty on him. I'm like, damn, how the fuck you know? Look at all them bullets. Yeah, they got them picking up bullets.
It was unclear who exactly was responsible for the shooting. Quando's ops from Savannah, the gang S8K, or the Section 8 kids, would post seemingly referencing the incident, with a caption saying "Get Back Gang," which, if you didn't know, is actually another name for King Von's gang, along with audio from Lil Durk's song Hellcats and Trackhawks, that earlier song where Durk says that he's looking to catch somebody lacking at their show. Now, it's unclear whether S8K members were taking direct responsibility for the incident, or simply celebrating a hit sent from Lil Durk or Von's crew, Get Back Gang. However, a black disciple from Georgia seemingly claimed responsibility for this hit on social media, leading people to believe once again that this was a hit affiliated with Lil Durk, naturally due to his extensive affiliations with the Black Disciple street gang, of which King Von was indeed a prominent member. Lil Pab also tweeted after this incident, brushing off the shooting and telling his ops to enjoy life and not let one person stress them out so much, and going on to post a picture of himself alive and well the following day. Quando would seemingly address the threats against his life in a later interview, also brushing off the danger and saying that he doesn't care about death threats because he's always armed.
Death threat all you want to, man, bro. That's just some words, man. Be an action.
Right.
You feel me? I'm going home to my daughter.
Right.
And if I didn't, God called me.
Right.
But I'm going home to my daughter, bit, bro. I'm not even the type of person to move without a firearm.
Rumors would later circulate that Lil Tim was also injured in this shooting. Now, whether or not that's true, it was clear that Lil Tim suffered a serious injury, being shot numerous times during the altercation with King Von. A couple of months after that shooting at the gas station, in August 2021, Lil Tim would post a sobering picture to Instagram, revealing that due to his gunshot wounds, he's having to use a colostomy bag, but still giving thanks for the fact he's still alive. It's unclear whether or not this injury was from the Waycross shooting, the shootout with King Von, or even a previous shootout in Savannah. But regardless, it was clear that Quando and Lil Tim were continuing to pay the price for this beef with King Von. But that didn't stop Quando from continuing to push his career forward. On May the 7th, 2021, Quando releases his 6th mixtape, Still Taking Risks, his first full-length release since the killing of King Von. And this project would be laced with references to the incident, as well as the consequences. Quando would rap about having a $1 million bounty on his head in the opening track Blue Man. He would also mock King Von on tracks like Red Eye, saying that he's smoking a dead guy and catching homicides with Timmy. There's also a line on that track where he says that he's signed to NBA and rapping, if he loves that girl, make sure he never sees her again. Seemingly a reference to King Von essentially dying as a result of his girlfriend Asian Doll, creating a love triangle between Von and Youngboy. With Quando going on to disrespect King Von's crew Get Back Gang, saying there ain't no get backs. Quando also says that he has shooters doing murders for only $1,500, and that he wants to kill all of his ops one by one until he gets to the top dog. Perhaps another reference to a desire to take out Lil Durk, as he depicted in his music video for the song Soul Reaper. And Quando even ends this song by mocking Lil Durk for linking up with Youngboy's enemies like Fredo Bang, as well as saying that Lil Tim got out of jail and got straight back to shooting. Even mocking Von, saying that Timmy busted Von's head because he got caught without his gun. There's also the song Drop Cell, where Quando reiterates that he didn't even realize that it was a beef with Von the night he got shot, and saying that he has bullets for a wrestler, another reference to Von trying to fight the night he got killed. Quando also raps saying that his young'un is quick to make a rapper bleed. Elsewhere on the track Devil on My Shoulder, he shouts out Timmy, saying he will shoot for him. But perhaps most notably was the track Purple Baby, the song where Quando extensively disses his dead enemies from Savannah, repeating a chorus that had lyrics saying that he's smoking purple babies, a reference to the gang's 1100 block and VBS, the Villa Boy Soldiers, who rep purple, and specifically the deceased members Heem and Huncho Reese, who lost their lives amid a deadly beef with the Rollin' 60s crew, OTM or Only the Mob, aka Jump Out Gang, this crew that Quando and Tim have been representing all of those years. Quando also references the beef with Lil Durk in the hook of this song, saying that this song is for the ones who put money on his head and that they're going to murk them. A suggestion that Quando and his people are trying to take out the people who are putting money on their heads before they get a chance to kill them. That would be followed up with a lyric saying that they're smoking on their new dead homie, which of course is a reference to Von. The track also had lines about Jump Out Gang jumping out and shooting, as well as a lyric attempting to discredit the street reputation of Chicago gangs, with Quando rapping that his ops think that they're the only killers in America. Again, referencing the fight with Von, saying that he's not wrestling, just shooting, and even referencing Lil Reese's earlier Twitter beef with him, saying his ops wanted smoke until he killed their friend, ultimately ending the song saying all he smokes is dead ops and free Lil Tim. Elsewhere on the song OK, Quando says that the night Von died made him sick, and reflecting on the trauma of seeing his friend Timmy split open after being shot. On the track Still Doing Wrong, he says that they had no choice but to kill Von, but to this day, he still doesn't know what he did to upset him. And then finally, on the track Stand On It, Quando would taunt Lil Durk and the Chicago rappers, who keep saying that they're going to kill him, saying that they better stand on that statement, mocking his rivals and questioning why they think they're the only shooters out here, introducing his team of shooters as Jump Out Gang and saying that they're the ones who put people on the news. Still Taking Risks was a bold project from Quando Rondo that made a big statement. And in spite of the shooting after his concert in Waycross, Quando was still planning on disrespecting his enemies. And Quando wasn't the only one who wasn't scared of the Chicago hitters hell-bent on taking them out, because Lil Tim would also share the same sentiment. Quando went live on the 8th of May 2021 with Lil Tim expressing frustration at their ops and saying that they're smoking Purple Baby and other ops, and saying that people are trying to blackball them from the music industry.
I can't sleep at night. Man, these nightmares, they eat me up. You know, real purple babies for real, man. I'm about to start smoking motherfucking black babies around this bitch, cuz.
You know, I got that's at the house with me, baby. Yeah, purple, baby. I went no bags.
Man, I'm pissed off, AJ. You gotta get up. No, boy, they cannot get that big straight up, ain't it, big, bro? I'm telling you, boy, they let me get that big bag. These folks really don't want to in the industry. So now I'm about to come bone rushing through this
Gotta kick the door in.
Come on, man. But they act like they don't like me. Yeah, 4th of July.
Quando even says that him and Lil Tim are going to drop a mixtape together.
Should have put me on there.
That me and Lil Tim about to drop a tape and we ain't about to do no capping at all. Mother, it's up. It's up. It's up.
And it would appear that in the midst of all of the hype surrounding Lil Tim, as he quickly went from unknown street figure to demon slayer who had killed Chicago's most dangerous rapper, he would spot an opportunity to capitalize on it. So Lil Tim would seemingly hit the recording studio too, in an effort to garner more money and fame off of the back of this situation. In June, Lil Tim would be on live previewing his new song, Off the List.
I dropped them all. I dropped them all. For thought. Man, let me let y'all hear some, man. Since y'all got me turned up like that. Off the list.
Now, this wasn't Lil Tim's first go at rapping. He had dropped snippets of songs all the way back in September before this whole beef popped off. But now that Lil Tim was known the world over as the man who had killed Chicago's most famous, self-proclaimed demon, he might just have a shot at getting famous off the back of this killing, just like King Von got famous, rapping about all the people that he had supposedly killed. As the days went on, Lil Tim got more and more active on social media, seemingly building up the hype for his new rapper slayer rap persona. On June the 9th, 2021, Lil Tim goes live saying that he keeps a black hoodie and denying being in hiding, saying, look what happened to Von.
You know I keep me a black hoodie. Hiding in the woods. What? Why I seen that tweet, boy? Nigga hiding in the woods. What? Bitch, I'm in trenches. What happened to buddy? Double down on y'all ass, man. Yeah, bitch ass.
Interestingly, after shooting King Von, Lil Tim didn't tweet for around 8 months, with his final tweet posted literally less than an hour before that shootout. But then, on July the 7th, 2021, Lil Tim would return with a brand new Twitter account, claiming that this new account was set to be foul and disrespectful, titling himself Lil Tim, the biggest op. Lil Tim would swiftly begin liking other posts on Twitter of people saying that they're smoking on Von, as well as reposting a tweet by Quando Rondo, seemingly referencing that moment where Quando helped a wounded Lil Tim into the hospital after the shootout with Von. A few days later, Lil Tim would post up on Twitter with his friend, saying that if you don't have a homicide, we can't be friends, even attracting him a like and a follow from hip-hop's biggest troll, 6ix9ine. Lil Tim proceeded to post clips on social media showing that he was outside in these streets, on the front lines, and not scared of any of his enemies.
Come on, man. Front line, oh. Too many ugly front line.
Eventually, on July the 21st, 2021, the full version of Lil Tim's new song, The List, would leak. And this was a wild track, seemingly dissing King Von and taking full responsibility for his murder, with Lil Tim rapping that he just checked a new N-word off the list, and that he's quick to gun you down, check the score, bitch I don't miss. Elsewhere on the track, Lil Tim dared his ops to spin on him, and a music video for the song would release in August, with Lil Tim rapping these lyrics whilst holding a shovel and smoking a blunt. A scenario that to me seems to indicate only one thing: he's smoking on Von and digging his grave. Elsewhere on the song, Lil Tim would rap that he's pulling out a shovel and grave digging all of his friends, as well as rapping that he will kill people and he doesn't care who they are, as well as saying, F that get back, another reference to King Von's crew Get Back Gang, and rapping that his ops all had guns, but they didn't shoot that night. A likely reference to King Von's friends Slutty and Louie, who had attempted and failed to execute Lil Tim on the ground that night the shooting occurred. Following the leaking of Lil Tim's song Off the List, blogs and websites would quickly react. This would lead to Lil Tim denying that the song was aimed at Lil Durk or King Von, with him posting an Instagram story reminding everybody that he mentioned no names on the song, as well as claiming to not even be able to officially release the song or video due to somebody sending it to the judge, with this apparently having potential to jeopardize his self-defense argument in court. Now, it's possible that due to this awkward rollout, the song and video being leaked, and then having to cancel the official release, Lil Tim may well have not made any money from this song. But what did happen was he caught the attention of another rapper with common enemies, 6ix9ine. Now, 6ix9ine has a storied history when it comes to beefing with Chicago rappers. He famously had words with Lil Durk on IG Live during his prime as a rapping Blood member.
But when I feel like disrespecting me, Blood.
And he had also gone back and forth extensively with Lil Reese. But since King Von mocked 6ix9ine for eventually becoming Snitch, when Von died, 6ix9ine was one of the first people to mock Von and disrespect Lil Durk in the aftermath.
Look how happy he is. He sacrificed. Look how happy he is. Look at this dead on his shirt. Look, yo, you think King Von thirsty? I think King Von thirsty. Look, yo, drink that. Look, if Killer ain't dead. We ain't wearing no RP shirts.
With 6ix9ine being one of the biggest people pushing the Slide for Von movement. This is essentially a catchphrase taunting Lil Durk and questioning why he hasn't retaliated for the killing of Von. And it's partly the result of a famous King Von lyric, where he rapped, "If he dies, his people will slide to avenge him every day and boost the murder rate." Combine this with lyrics that Lil Durk rapped on Pooh Shiesty's song Back in Blood, where he says, if the killer isn't dead, then you can't wear an RIP shirt.
Stephen, killer ain't dead. We don't wear no RP shirt. Yo, Lil Tim still alive, son. No 4K trade members. None happened to them. Look. Von resting pissed.
Clearly 6ix9ine was looking to capitalize on the death of King Von, all for his own attention. But what he did next truly shocked the internet. As in August, a clip went round of 6ix9ine and Lil Tim seemingly arriving to a Savannah music studio together. And the media would soon report that 6ix9ine and Lil Tim had seemingly teamed up to record a collaboration. 6ix9ine posted a video of him in Savannah, allegedly rolling his dice with Lil Tim's people.
Where's Fat at? Where's that? Call Fat thing. Call Fat. Go to the bank. Where's Fat? We got some of that shit, though. We got some of that. No, look, this is what we doing, man. Put me on camera. I'm about to stop this. I get your ass down.
And then another video would go around, apparently showing Lil Tim in the booth recording with 6ix9ine. Now, Lil Tim would deny doing a song with 6ix9ine, telling his followers on social media, "What do I look like doing a song with a rat?" Lil Pab would also cast doubt on the situation, posting the studio footage, pointing out that there is no song to show. And Quando Rondo would also deny the collaboration after 6ix9ine posted a video showing him in Savannah and saying he was playing dice with Quando's people, with Quando saying that his people had taken 6ix9ine's money and left the building, indicating that in reality, 6ix9ine had actually been finessed out of his cash by the 33rd Street goons. After this, Lil Tim would come out to say that it was not 1027 or 33rd Street members in that video with 6ix9ine, essentially saying that 6ix9ine came there to meet with him, but Tim didn't want to go through with it. Tim would claim he would never do a song with a snitch when he has friends that literally got snitched on.
Cause you know I can have anything, any name in my mouth, cause you don't see me in that video. Them your people in that video, that's your family, cause that's your people, cause you don't see no 1600, you don't see no 3, you know, 1027 chains and that. Them yo people and they flashing money with that man. That's not me. You tripping. He came down for me, but I wasn't in there with that.
Tim would later do an interview with Fuchsia's TV, claiming to have taken around $40,000 to $60,000 from 6ix9ine before leaving the studio without recording.
Nah, I never did it. I act like I was gonna do it. Got down a couple of 40, 60 rats type. It just did. Like, I ain't never did it. I act like I was gonna do it. Never did it.
So it turned out 6ix9ine had actually planned to include Lil Tim on his King Von disc called Wah Wah, but when Lil Tim pulled out of the song, 6ix9ine had to re-release the track as a solo song under the title Gene. But even without Lil Tim on the track, 6ix9ine's lyrics would be all aimed squarely at Lil Durk for not avenging King Von, with pointed lyrics on the track saying your man got shot and you didn't get back. And in the video, when 6ix9ine rapped the lyric, "Go get a gun and go get some get back," he even flashes the word "slide for Von" up on the screen. So in the end, it really did seem like Lil Tim was actually able to translate his street notoriety into cold hard cash. Ironically, in this case, without even having to record a song. But behind the scenes, Lil Tim was still recording and practicing his rap skills. After the 6ix9ine debacle, Quando Rondo and Lil Tim collaboration track called Biggest Op leaks online. But for now, Lil Tim would remain behind the scenes and in the streets rather than pursuing a rap career fully. As time would go by, people would be wondering whether or not this supposed $1 million bounty on Quando's head was even real. In September, a clip circulates apparently showing Quando walking around all by himself in Walmart with no security.
Yesterday, Quando Rondo, as you all know him as, came to my job. He was by himself. Everybody is making comments saying he's supposed to be on the run. He is living life, as you can see, having fun.
And as time goes on, Quando Rondo seemed to just be living his life as normal. The following week, he goes on live and says only his friends can fight him, and if anyone else tries, they're getting shot. As well as saying that Lil Tim and NBA Youngboy are the only people who have been there for him.
Me and Black got the hit and, you know, some brotherly. You know, I fight with him. Anybody else throw their hands up, they get their ass. But then, like, for me, Lil Tim and Lil Top, I don't give a f*** about a not liking me though. I wanted to stay that way. Cause I'm on a true color rock. His ass gonna end up like that, but I'm talking about eternally.
Unfortunately for Quando, Lil Tim's troubles with the law were far from over. Sometime at the end of 2021, Lil Tim gets into a high-speed chase with the cops, eventually getting himself arrested, with NBA Ben 10 saying "Free Tim" and showing that he's saved in his phone as Von Killer. Lil Tim would abruptly stop tweeting on September the 18th, 2021, with one of his last tweets saying that he knows people that carry guns just to get caught with it rather than shoot, with Tim later telling Fuchsia's TV that he wasn't driving the car, but he still got charged and spent around a month behind bars as a result.
I wasn't even driving though. I was in the car to stick everything on me because I ain't told them who was driving, so they charged me with it. I did like a month.
With Lil Tim briefly in jail and Quando Rondo out here walking around Walmarts with no security, the trend of asking when somebody is going to slide for Von would continue intensely. On September the 19th, 2021, O-Block member and childhood friend of King Von, Muwop, who is currently awaiting trial for the murder of FBG Duck, and who is also the very person who punched Quando Rondo to the ground whilst he was still scuffling with King Von after Lil Tim shot Von on November the 6th, is on Instagram Live getting trolled by fans who asked him right to his face when he's going to slide on Lil Tim.
Hey, don't say no, bro.
On God, I won't. Oh, listen.
When
y'all go and slide on Lil Tim, right?
Hey, go ahead, gang. Then I say don't say no, man. I don't know about him. I'm gonna be control. Hey, out of that, it's over with. I'm out of there. My brother just messed it up for everybody.
Eventually, after all of this talk of sliding for Von, the man that everybody was telling to slide, Lil Durk, would finally have enough. It would seem that Durk, unable to keep his beef in the streets, felt compelled to begin rapping about this situation in his music too. On October the 8th, 2021, Lil Durk would rap on the Who Wants Smoke remix with Nardo Wick, saying that people keep trolling him saying slide for Von, but he's already got back, people just don't know it. As well as rapping that people die pumping gas, a possible reference to the shooting of Quando at the gas station earlier that year. It seemed that Lil Durk was trying to quash the slide for Von trend by hinting to the world that he had in fact already slid. This song was followed a week later by Lil Durk's new song titled Pissed Me Off, a track where he raps that since he lost Von, he can't be happy until they even the score. And rapping, perhaps self-referentially, that if you're not a shooter, you should at least put up money for the guns, a stolen car, and the bail. Durk would rap a warning, saying that somebody mentioned his friend on Live, but they can't laugh now. Likely another reference to Quando mocking Von's death on IG Live, and suggesting that Quando isn't laughing after the shooting in Georgia. Durk would go on to mock people in different states for acting like they're from Chicago, a likely reference to how Quando and his goons all posted up with guns on camera following the cancellation of his first show after Von's death. Ultimately, this slide for Von meme was incredibly destructive. Whether or not it contributed to the violence, or simply just baited Lil Durk into incriminating himself and rapping lyrics that could tie him to crimes just to save face, what was clear is that the danger was real, and the supposed $1 million on Quando Rondo's head was far more than just a rap lyric. And from here, sadly, this deadly feud would continue to play out on both the streets and in rap songs, with these murderous, vengeance-themed anthems captivating rap fans all over the world and the Billboard charts. Lil Durk is one of the most successful rappers in the game right now, but that doesn't mean it has been an easy journey for him. Oh no, people. In fact, if you've been following my channel for quite some time, you'll know that Lil Durk's road to the top was not easy. Because Lil Durk's road to the top has been paved with tragedy after tragedy. He has lost no less than 30 friends to the streets in the course of his come-up. In fact, so many people close to Lil Durk lost their lives during his come-up that many people believe that he is actually cursed, a theory which I broke down at length in my video on the deadly curse that Lil Durk can't escape. Go and watch that if you want some extra background. But the saddest thing is, the tragic losses that Lil Durk endured on his road to the top didn't seem to end. And even whilst dominating the rap game, Lil Durk unfortunately has suffered numerous personal tragedies during the peak of his career. I'm sure you'll be painfully aware that in November of 2020, Lil Durk's day one homie from O-Block, King Von, tragically lost his life in a shooting outside of an Atlanta nightclub. Durk was so close to Von that he would regularly call himself Von's twin, or if the crimes that they were accused of whilst Von was alive or anything to go by, then perhaps Evil Twin is a more appropriate title. But that wasn't the only major loss that Lil Durk endured during his glory years at the top of the rap game, because in June 2021, Lil Durk's own blood brother D-Thang would also end up losing his life in yet another senseless shooting outside of a nightclub. Now, this is Club O in Chicago, where Lil Durk's brother D-Thang allegedly lost his life, and I'm not going to lie to you, I don't think I would try my chances at a party in Club O, frankly. It looks a bit scary. Apparently, multiple multiple shots were fired from multiple weapons after an altercation where even a police officer was hit in the thigh, and the unfortunate ending being Lil Durk's 32-year-old brother being shot in the head and losing his life. In the aftermath of D-Thang's death, a lot of internet detectives over on Reddit's Chiracology took to their keyboards to give their opinion on the most recent life lost to Chicago's gang violence. RIP to him, someone with that much status should not be caught clubbing in Chicago unless it's when they're doing a show. No disrespect, but being at Club O is nasty as F. For Durk to be dropping the biggest album of his career and his brother is kicking it at a hood-ass strip club is wild. Harvey is the hood. That area is kinda industrial, but it's still the hood. Can't believe that he was there. I seen a bitch give birth at Club O on the dance floor. A very sad story, but perhaps even sadder than the many losses that Lil Durk has been forced to suffer during his career are the trolls that crawl out of the woodwork to mock Lil Durk when he's going through one of his darkest moments. Not long after King Von lost his life, in response to a post on Instagram where Lil Durk mourned the loss of his musical twin King Von, 6ix9ine jumped in with the offensive reply, referring also to Lil Durk's deceased cousin Nooski, saying, "Nooski, now Von, and you still rapping? Go pick up a gun." But if you thought that was bad, in the aftermath of Durk's own blood brother losing his life, 6ix9ine had this to say: "Time to smoke a new pack. It's like every week. I didn't even finish enjoying smoking Von yet. You're dying too fast." Even going as far as to comment on one of Academics' pages, quoting a Lil Durk lyric saying, "Tell the truth about your gang, man, you really dying." And he would even go as far as to repeat lyrics from King Von's collaboration track with Fabio Foreign, where King Von says, "If he should die, I'm boosting the murder rate because my brother's gone slide every day." With 6ix9ine frequently bringing up these lyrics where King Von claimed that if anybody killed him, his crew would relentlessly stalk his killers, questioning why Lil Durk has not avenged his friends.
King Von said, "When I die, my niggas is gonna slide every day." Cat, nigga. That shit is cat. Who slipped for King Von yet? That nigga resting fucking piss, nigga.
Yeesh. Basically, 6ix9ine started a trend of people on the internet questioning when, oh when, is Lil Durk gonna slide? And it's not just 6ix9ine, this trend went far beyond our favorite cheese gobbler, with sort of funny memes circulating anytime anything to do with slides is in the media, like this meme that was going around suggesting that Lil Durk was going to get himself an Android phone after Apple announced that there was going to be a new slide emoji on iPhones, because apparently he doesn't slide. But ladies and gentlemen, clearly these comments were getting to Lil Durk himself, who rapped on the remix of Nardo Wick's Who Wants Smoke. "They be on my page like slide for Von, I know they trolling me." But people, if you pay close attention to Lil Durk's next few lyrics, you might be led to believe that he has in fact been sliding all along. Because Lil Durk says, "Got it back in blood, you just don't know, that's how it's supposed to be." Durk is suggesting that he has already got Get Back, but it has been kept a nice tidy little secret. But people, with a little bit of Google research, we're able to dig a little bit deeper and get some background information on this supposed Get Back. But before we get to that, this isn't the only Lil Durk lyric where he seems to suggest that he is in fact on Get Backs, that he is sliding, and that he has delivered pain to his ops. On his recent track, Pissed Me Off, a track that is a tribute to his brother D-Thang and King Von, Durk says a number of things that could be construed as accepting the fact that he has either indeed gotten Get Back or that he's going to. He says right at the start of the song, "You ain't get back for your mans, you in the club like he ain't dead." Now, you wouldn't say that if you hadn't got back for your mans, frankly. He says in the song, "Grab a gun. If you ain't with it, put up money for a gun." So he's saying you should get back, grab yourself a gun, and if you're not trying to shoot, at least put up the money for a gun. And then he goes further, put up money for a hot car, stolen car, and put up money for a bond, so to bail out the shooter once they've done the work. He says he's got killers that he loves and they don't rap. He says, "If I die, just don't lie, man, you better slide. And if you can't get the main one, then you better get his guys." He says, "Phone 'em slides the next day, this cannot die down." But at least he ends the song with a little bit of plausible deniability to keep the feds off his back, saying in reference to the switches on the back of his Glocks, "You know that's just for the Instagram, I keep my distance." But that wasn't the only seminar in self-incrimination from Lil Durk, oh no, because he went further in his recent song, Aha, a track responding to recent disses from NBA Youngboy's crew. Durk opens the track with the lyrics, "Don't respond to shit with Von." I'm like, fuck it, you're tripping, go get your gun. They drop in locations, I'm getting it done. Fuck tweeting, we sliding, and the feds will come. Durk is saying outright, they're sliding, they're sliding. He says they're sliding, he's admitting they're sliding, he wants you to know that they're sliding, and you know, that's how it is. Verse 1, he says, "We've been sliding through their blocks and they don't know we have." He says he's been sliding and nobody knows. He says, "Buddy ass got shot, we ain't claim it, but I can show his ass." But he goes even further, he says, "My brother D-Thang just got killed and I've been slow since, but we got back on they ass, I've bet they know this. He's literally just saying outright, my brother got killed, but we got back. He says they got back. He says they slid. And on bro, I'm speaking facts. This ain't no diss. Keep the police out my business. We don't post shit.
These dang killers did get killed. The feds liable to get wrong for that motherfucking shit. The killers of his brother did get killed. This nigga rapping about them murders.
He's saying we got back, we slid, and I'm speaking facts. This isn't a diss song. I'm speaking factual information that we done get backs. Keep the police out my business. We're not going to post the get backs, but I assure you, lyrically, as he says, I'm speaking facts. We got back on their ass. He ends the verse by saying they're like Durk. His ass a singer. He won't smoke shit. He's basically doing like 6ix9ine impression. He's saying, oh, people think Lil Durk's a singer. He won't smoke anyone. And he says, you can believe whatever you want. I got your folks hit. He's saying, believe that, but we did the hit. So what are these get backs that Lil Durk is supposedly claiming? Quando Rondo is, of course, the man that King Von was trying to fight on the night that he was killed, ultimately being shot dead by a man in Quando Rondo's entourage named Lil Tim. Back in May 2021, Quando Rondo played a show in Georgia to a very small crowd, a Smoke Perp-esque performance. But respect to Quando Rondo for still getting on the stage knowing that half of Chicago wants to kill him, and him and his crew would be seen posted up at a gas station on social media, apparently ready for all the smoke.
I ain't gonna lie, man, my shows really be, you feel me, deeper than this, but I know a nigga got a lot of shit going on.
Now, it would later emerge that following this not sold out show, that Quando and his team were indeed targeted in a shooting at a convenience store near the venue, with TMZ reporting that one man in Quando's entourage was indeed wounded in the shooting, with cops believing the shooter opened fire from across the road as Quando and his crew were in a parking lot at a convenience store. Police said they're not aware of any bullets hitting Quando because he had fled the scene by the time cops arrived, but he was indeed in the parking lot before the shooting, with one man in Quando's group being shot in the hand and receiving treatment at a local hospital. With a group of black disciples, that's the same Chicago gang that Lil Durk is affiliated with, from Quando's state in Georgia, seemingly taking responsibility for the shooting a few months later. With this post doing the rounds on social media, with a Georgia BD that's apparently close with Lil Durk's OTF crew claiming the shooting, saying Quando ain't done a show in a year, and the one he did, ask him about how many shots were let off. So look, we can't say that Lil Durk was strictly involved, but it does genuinely appear as if there are people sliding for Von. So with all this sliding for Von going on, it also makes you wonder, what are these supposed get-backs for D-Thang Lil Durk is also talking about in his songs? Well, firstly, let's take a look at this post on Reddit Chiracology saying, all right, so who actually killed OTF D-Thang, and did OTF get back for that kill? There's a comment down here that says, the man from Chicago on here said a set named Dump Street killed D-Thang, and 2 members of that gang set died from Dump Street after D-Thang's death. And apparently OTF members posted pictures of D-Thang on their social media after these 2 supposed Dump Street members were killed. Here's another Reddit post with another interesting comment. Anybody else find out who killed D-Thang, or at least what hood they were from? This post said it was Dump Street, and I believe they got back for him the following week. 2 Dump Street members were killed at a gas station. The next day, Durk posted D-Thang with ESDG's Lick Back song in the background, implying that they got back. They're actually referring to this post that Lil Durk put on his Insta story in July 2021, the month after D-Thang was killed, with the Reddit post reposting this image from Lil Durk's social media, saying, so the theory is that the 2 guys killed at the gas station was get back for D-Thang. And it appears that they're actually referring to this killing. 2 men fatally shot outside of a West Inglewood gas station. According to Chicago police, 2 men were shot and killed in the parking lot of a West Inglewood gas station on Saturday afternoon, with the 2 victims found at the gas station on the 6100 block of South Ashland Avenue at approximately 3 p.m. when a dark-colored vehicle pulled up and an unknown person inside the vehicle fired shots, striking both victims. One victim, a 33-year-old man, was shot in the chest and transported to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead, and the second man, who was 20 years old, died at the scene. No arrests have been made. Now, there's also been a lot of speculation in these comments that the people...
I'm going to show you the cold part about the D-Thang murder. That murder kind of like Big Jook murder, how they saying Big Jook used CMG money to hire hitmen. OTF D-Thang, which really started OTF Durk brother, he paid Devon them the $100,000 to kill FBG Duck. If D-Thang was alive, his ass would have been in federal prison for the murder of FBG Duck and could have took Durk to jail for that.
People that lost their lives were actually just friends or affiliates of D-Thang's killers, with this seemingly referenced in Lil Durk's own lyrics where he says, on the track Pissed Me Off, if you can't get the main one, then you better get his guys. But to make things even more scary, apparently there's also an alternate ending to the track Pissed Me Off, which I probably can't play you on YouTube because of copyright issues, where Durk basically says that nobody hears about his getbacks because people don't know about it, and that you can find it out on the news rather than his songs. In addition to that, a lot of other people have pointed out that further social media posts that circulate see Lil Durk suggesting that Get Back has been gotten, like this post with a diamond-encrusted D-Thang piece on top of a pile of cash and the caption, "Standing and stood on business for you, broski, long live D." And just in case things weren't obvious enough, going back to Lil Durk's lyrics on the remix of Nardo Wick's Who Wants Smoke, where Durk said, "Got it back in blood, y'all just don't know," he seems to link his Get Back to that earlier shooting at a gas station with the lyric, "Better do what Nardo says, cause dudes will die for pumping gas." The apparent Get Back happened at a gas station, and Lil Durk is literally on tracks here, saying people die pumping gas. After the death of King Von, Quando Rondo and his entourage seemed marked for death. Amid rumors of $1 million bounty on his head, he would need to move safe. But even before the feud with King Von, Lil Durk, and his OTF collective, Quando Rondo had other people that would have wanted to see him dead too. A longtime member of Savannah, Georgia's Rollin' 60s Crips, with local set Only the Mob having deep ties to the streets and years of history catching serious charges, there was numerous groups and gangs from his native city that might have had it out for him. One such example was the crew known as SAK, or the Section 8 Kids, who was still hating on Quando Rondo and his crew. Only the Mob, OTM, sometimes referred to as JOG or Jump Out Gang or 1027, Quando's crew were an enormous target for numerous people. And just like Lil Durk from Chicago, Quando Rondo's ops from Savannah would use music as an attempt to get back at them. For example, in April 2022, SAK Gutter drops the song Drill Time, along with a music video that started out with him crossing out 1027 and Jump Out Gang tags on a wall, and he would rap F1027 in this song. So at this point, Quando and his team have the most dangerous gang in Chicago trying to kill him, as well as numerous ops in his own native city of Savannah also looking to take his life. But Quando didn't seem bothered. After the release of Lil Tim and his new mixtape Still Taking Risks, it appeared that Quando and Tim had no fear about being outside or speaking their minds. In April, Quando Rondo would be broadcasting his daily activities, sliding openly through the streets of Savannah, accompanied by his mother and $50,000 in cash. He would be mobbing with his local friends like Phoenix and Big Tim, seemingly with an army of people watching his back throughout the area.
Yeah, ride around thugging with Mon Dukes today. 50 on me. Hey, y'all boy, I'm about to go in the store, be on the lookout. Alright. Okay, Trey. Going on. Riding around Mon Dukes thugging today. Why? Mon Dukes, I got my little all around this shit. Hey, Phoenix, watch my car, cuz. Yeah, I watch. What's Marvin love, bro? What's going on?
I did,
Boy, you matched my auntie number yesterday too, now. She hit for my birthday, she played 25 tickets. It really supposed to be 150, right? Yeah, you matched my auntie number.
Mrs. Birthday.
Yeah, this big Lil Tim. Facts.
In this live, Quando is behaving like he truly runs the city, even proceeding to smoke a cigarette on live inside of the convenience store. At one point, Quando actually starts winning at a game, even calling up Lil Tim in the store, saying that he's up big money.
Call Lil Tim. I need some. Call Lil Tim. Call Lil Tim, big play. Big play. Call Lil Tim. Call Lil Tim, we up. Call Lil Tim. Woo! Right there. Right there. Call Lil Tim. Why you ain't calling him yet? No, you not. Yeah. I'm in that hitting, baby. Check me out. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big play, what it's doing? What I hit for? Man, 30,000. Speaking it to existence. Okay. Lil Tim. Lil Tim.
Well, that's the first time
Lil Tim.
I see you.
Stop playing now. Stop playing now. I don't play no games. Get that ready, Nanny. Get that ready. Come on now. Joanna. I ain't been in here 5 minutes and I done hit that. Joanna.
Oh, no, so this, they gonna give you this in cash?
Watch out, don't touch nothing. You touch something, you gonna pay for it.
That nigga gonna get the
Ain't no
stuff.
money in there. Ain't no price on no money.
But you how you gonna scan it? Do something to it. Alright. How much that is?
$330.
See, you hit my birthday for $330.
It's interesting because you can actually really see the close friendship that Quando and Tim had in these little moments. On May the 11th, 2022, Lil Tim does an interview with Fuchsia's TV where he spoke on the Von situation. He didn't go too in detail about the events of that night, but he did boldly claim that he did what any good friend would want them to do.
No matter where you at, like, they would have wanted their partner to be their phone.
So while Quando and Tim were out here living life and speaking openly about their thoughts on this situation, behind the scenes, Quando's ops from different cities were making connections and plotting against him and his people. In May, S8K members seen on Instagram Live with O-Block members who were friends with King Von. It seemed like Lil Durk was still on the hunt and looking for ways to potentially get his revenge on Quando or Lil Tim for the death of King Von. And Durk wasn't even keeping this a secret. On June the 3rd, 2022, Lil Durk says that he's still trying to nail him, i.e. kill Quando, on the track Keep Dissing 2 with Boston Richie. Durk would go on to liken himself to King Von, rapping, "Bro got bodies, he's a demon child, I'm brothers to a devil." After the Slide for Von trend had become so popular, it seemed to be common knowledge that Lil Durk and the people around him were openly trying to have Quando Rondo killed. But despite their earlier sentiments, Quando and Tim weren't all about the negativity. In August 2022, in an effort to give back to his community, Lil Tim did a book bag drive in a Savannah church. Unfortunately, despite making small positive steps, the negativity of gang life in Savannah would prevail. A few days before a scheduled trip to Los Angeles, one of Quando's close friends, Fendi, is killed in a shooting on West 38th Street. After cops responded to reports of shots fired around 3 a.m. on the 800 block of West 38th Street, they would find 22-year-old Fendi, real name Phoenix Odom, dead at the scene.
Right now, a man dead, and police are scrambling to figure out who killed him. Here's a look at the crime scene on the west side of Savannah, where you can see investigators gathering evidence for hours overnight. Now, that shooting happened early this morning on West 38th and Bullock Streets. As soon as we learn more about what led to that shooting, we will bring it to you.
Unsurprisingly, Quando's enemies would mock the death of his close friend, but despite the tragedy that took place in Savannah, Quando and his team would press on with their trip to Los Angeles, where initially they'd seemingly be having a good time, as Quando and Lil Pab would post clips to social media showing them in the back of a car, popping a bottle and enjoying the good life. However, unfortunately, it was here in Los Angeles when tragedy would strike again. On August the 19th, 2022, just before 5:30 p.m., while sitting in their SUV, Quando Rondo and Lil Pab would be the targets of an assassination attempt, as 3 masked gunmen would approach Quando Rondo's car whilst parked at a gas station right near popular LA tourist destination, the Beverly Center, where these shooters would open fire. The police chief would later describe the shooters as having gotten out of a white car in dark clothing, shooting, and fleeing immediately after the shooting in what seemed to be a professional hit job.
They gassed up their vehicle, and as they were getting into their vehicle, a white car approached from the alley. 3 men got out of that car. They were in all dark clothing. They approached, fired numerous shots, and then left in that white car going eastbound in the alley north of Beverly. It does appear that we don't see any kind of argument or anything go on beforehand. So clearly these men came here with a mission in mind.
KCAL News would give viewers a good look at the alley where the shots were fired from, and Fox 11 News Los Angeles would break down the entire series of events, explaining that the shooting took place at the gas station, which was followed by an attempt to flee by Quando's entourage, where they drove a short distance before pulling over to seek medical attention for Lil Pab, who was hit in the shooting.
Once that SUV is hit by the gunfire, they take off, they hit the gas, and they drive a few blocks away into West Hollywood. They wind up stopping over at Santa Monica and San Vicente, right in the very heart of West Hollywood. You know, over there by the sheriff's station, also by the West Hollywood Park. They pull over there because the wounds to the man who was hit inside the Escalade too severe. He's bleeding. They pull over. 911 is called. Paramedics rush in. They take the injured man who's hit by gunfire to the ER. He does not make it, does not survive.
This essentially created 2 separate crime scenes, the scene of the shooting and the scene of where Quando's car stopped, with a KTLA-5 helicopter putting surveillance on both of these scenes soon after the incident. According to KCAL, when Quando's car stopped, a pedestrian flanked down a sheriff deputy who began to help Quando and a wounded Lil Pab in a dramatic scene that was captured on camera by bystanders.
And that's where sheriff deputies were then flagged down by a pedestrian during rush hour on a Friday, right around 5:30. They found the victim with a gunshot wound and inside of a black Cadillac Escalade. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital. That is where we are told he died. His identity currently being withheld until family is notified.
Quando Rondo would be filmed by passers-by, breaking down at the scene and screaming in disbelief as his wounded friend Lil Pab is pulled from the car and given CPR. With this heartbreaking scene quickly going viral and being broadcast on most major news outlets.
Somebody got shot, bro.
I'm pressed.
I get it. Can I get some space, please? Hold on. Hey, what was that? I know, Baker. I know. What was that? What?
Unfortunately, Lil Pab would pass away in hospital as a result of his injuries, leaving Quando Rondo devastated, not just at the scene, but with later social media posts memorializing his close friend and cousin. Lil Pab was one of Quando's right-hand men, someone who had been there for him during his come-up and stayed by his side when the whole industry turned against him. Pab had now lost his life, highly likely as a direct result of the $1 million bounty placed on Quando's head following the killing of King Von. Ironically, with Pablo's death coming just a week before he was set to face trial for his 2019 RICO charges. But instead of Pab facing justice, Los Angeles police would now be looking to catch whoever did this brazen and professional murder. This was a brazen and professional hit, with the shooters clearly not caring about the fact that this took place in broad daylight in a busy tourist district. In fact, this scenario was eerily similar to the murder of FBG Duck by members of King Von's gang, O-Block. After all, both of these shootings would seemingly take place right in front of popular tourist destinations. In this situation, Los Angeles' Beverly Center.
To give you an idea, shots rang out there and right across the street, the Beverly Center. Imagine that, 5:30 in the afternoon. Incredibly, no one else hit by the gunfire.
However, in the aftermath of the incident, there would be a lot of conflicting narratives regarding who was responsible. Members of the LA-based gang, the Hoover Criminals, would be quick to celebrate Quando's misfortune, no doubt a result of the feud between Quando and the Hoovers many years before. Interestingly, after the incident, posts would circulate with captions saying, "Not Durk's work," which, if you ask me, is a little bit suspicious. After all, Quando had been warned by the Hoovers when he went to LA in 2019. And since he's a member of Savannah's Rollin' 60 Crips, and that the Hoover Criminals are local enemies of Los Angeles' Rollin' 60s Crips, the Hoovers clearly had a grudge against Quando since he had been seen making a disrespectful hand sign towards the Hoovers a few years ago. But that was years ago, and at this point, Quando's beef with the Hoovers seemed much more about social media, unlike his beef with the Chicago rappers, which had already claimed the life of King Von. And despite these early reports that the Hoovers were responsible for the shooting, it would actually be friends and associates of King Von who were quick to celebrate the most hard following the killing of Lil Pab. Friends of Von would post pictures of him on IG following the shooting, with some going as far as to say, "Ain't no time frame on that get back," even posting pictures of Quando saying it should have been him. King Von and Lil Durk's DJ Bands would mock Quando Rondo, taking to Instagram saying that he was signing artists to Belt to Ass Records.
Belt to Ass Records, you know what I'm saying? We signed, man. Anybody could get signed, man. That's all you gotta do is play crazy out here. You get your ass signed, man.
O-Block member and friend of King Von, D Bands, would later be on live in O-Block along with other gang members claiming to be smoking Lil Pab.
Tell them who we smoking.
We smoking what dude name?
Lil Pab at the pizza loader.
Meanwhile, other OTF affiliates would mock Quando Rondo and tell fans to guess who they're smoking.
Seeing me be like, no!
Y'all killing me with these nose. No! They killing me. Look at their nose. They killing me. Y'all killing me with these nose, man. No! Swiping, no swiping. Guess we rolling up this morning.
Even OTF affiliate Lil Vani, who had actually gone back and forth on Clubhouse with both Quando and Pab himself, would take to social media to mock Quando for losing two friends, saying that when it rains it pours, and that Quando should keep his chin up. Despite the disrespect coming from the people who wanted Quando and his friends dead, Quando's team would not be discouraged. Lil Tim would post tributes to Pab on his Instagram and his Twitter with a flurry of posts honoring his fallen friend. In one tweet, Tim tells Pablo to say what's up to Sosa and Stucky in heaven, and expressing disbelief about this sudden loss. Lil Pab's brother would also post from his account, saying that he was a real one who stood on business, and saying that he's got Quando's back forever. Even NBA Youngboy would post twice, seemingly indicating that Get Back was on the way, and saying that he truly wants what's coming to him, but it might take some time, even describing the situation as sad and wicked. Youngboy's ominous but tasteful statement would be in stark contrast to the other side. After many of Von's friends had posted disrespectful things on social media towards Quando, one person would stand out from them all, taking the disrespect to a whole new level. A few days after the shooting, a Chicago black disciple named Famous Richard makes a skit and music video mocking Quando's reaction to the Lil Pab shooting.
Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV. This man, a passenger in that car, frantic at the sight.
The song was literally called No, and the hook was Famous Richard just screaming no like Quando did when he saw Lil Pab die. This song was even promoted, encouraging other people to do the impression of Quando shouting no, calling it the Quando Rondo Challenge. In response to this, Quando Rondo's friend Jump Out Gang Black, the person who made the song King Tim Story, would clap back with an IG story, saying that things are much deeper than they seem and that people are false claiming this incident, even adding that he is planning to make somebody pay. Meanwhile, a few days after the incident, amid the disrespect coming from King Von's friends and affiliated black disciples in Chicago, Lil Tim takes to Twitter to diss Slutty, tweeting "the Slutty way," a reference to King Von's friend Slutty, who had tried and failed to execute Tim the night Von died, ultimately end up being killed by the police. But once the dust settled on this incident, those involved would need to hop off the internet and begin to deal with the real-life consequences of the situation. In September, Lil Tim would be seen at Lil Pab's funeral, and while rumors had circulated that Quando wouldn't be attending the funeral, he'd later be seen carrying the casket along with Lil Tim and others. After the ceremony, Lil Tim would be popping champagne at Lil Pab's wake. And considering just how much of Quando's great artistry has come from him channeling his pain into great songs, it's no surprise that it didn't take him long to open up about the death of his right-hand man Pab in Pain songs. On August the 30th, 2022, Quando Rondo opens up about the situation on the song Give Me a Sign with NBA Youngboy, rapping that people were testing him and now a rapper got killed, as well as saying it broke his heart to see Lil Tim get shot and then charged with murder just for protecting him. Elsewhere on the song, NBA Youngboy raps about King Von sleeping with his ex, saying that he couldn't cope with it, and saying that him and Quando have been blackballed in the music industry for what Lil Tim did to King Von. This would give fans an insight into the pain that Quando and Youngboy had been going through, living with the consequences of King Von's death as a result of their rap beef. But what was still a mystery was who exactly was responsible for this most recent murder of Lil Pab. Soon, the internet would begin piecing together the clues, with a suspicious eye being cast towards the LA branch of the Rolling 60s Crips. Now initially, Quando seemed to have a connection with the LA wing of the same gang he represented in Savannah. He had been seen with Rolling 60s members in LA on his previous trip when he was pressured by the Hoovers. And it seemed that Quando was familiar with that age-old process where the world of rappers and gangsters collide, known as checking in. This is the idea that rappers have to contact the local gang and negotiate protection whilst visiting a new city. This checking in process may or may not involve a payment, or it might simply operate on a mutual respect being shown. Many rappers like Lil Baby have seen showing love to LA's Rolling 60s as part of an apparent checking in process. Here's Lil Baby in Rolling 60s territory with legendary Rolling 60s Crip rapper Nipsey Hussle. A former Crip leader by the name of Big U actually broke down the process of checking in to Charlemagne in an interview on The Breakfast Club.
Explain extortion to us. Would the rappers really be getting extorted by the gang members? Because if you coming out here, you eating, and you in the club, and nobody know you, and you bringing your crew, then what happened? You fool. You fool.
Interestingly, Quando had actually had numerous interactions with legendary LA Crip Big U in the lead up to this tragic incident. Big U had claimed on The Breakfast Club that Quando had reached out to him for protection and suggested that despite claiming Rolling 60s, Quando had never showed him love until he began having problems with Durk after Von's death.
You know, you got a lot of dudes, like when I was here last time, they claim my neighborhood that's in this music, but they don't really us until it's a problem. Then they call him. Like Quando Rondo. I just showed
it's the Muslim
Envy. Like, you can't call me now. You can't call me when the fire hot. You didn't me before that. You know what I mean? You had my number, you could have called me, you could have did all that.
This comment elicited a response from Quando, who denied ever calling Big U for protection, instead saying that he was asking how he could give back to the Rolling 60s in LA.
It's time for me to start straightening my face, politics-wise. You feel me? It's time for me to leave this street in the streets and just play my role with this internet. I never once called nobody, no on planet Earth for no protection. Because I don't fear no man. Why would I wait to get us? Anybody that I ever called, I call on some like, how can I help? How can I do this? How can I do that? I never called no person on planet Earth for protection.
Big U would reply to this, claiming to have love for Quando, but also suggesting that he was planning to pull up on him and that he was in his town.
First of all, I never talked to Quando. You know, it ain't nothing but love with Quando. And I was only addressing something that Charlemagne had said to me. And The nephew reaching out to do something for the kids, definitely do that. Because I never talked to him. He just asked me if somebody reached out. I just feel like I know cuz and I've been knowing him. And I never heard from him after we had a conversation maybe a year and a half ago. No, maybe 2 years ago. And then so when he called me, I'm only on positive vibes. So I'm gonna pull up on cuz or he can pull up on me.
He can want to go to war with the BDs over Quando.
I ain't got nothing but love for nephew.
So he alley-ooped him.
And he talked to my son them a week ago about whatever they was talking about. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Big U would claim to not be doing anything with Quando if it's about anything negative.
Quando want to do something for the kids, for the family. I'm definitely with him on that. You know, definitely support him.
Whatever. He was openly letting them niggas know it was okay to hit that nigga.
It ain't positive. I'm not rocking with it. I'm just not rocking with nothing unless it's positive. 100. Period. So I'm not even taking negative calls, man. I'm not looking for no negative calls. I'm not taking negative calls. If I think it's gonna be negative, I'm not taking it. If it ain't positive, if it ain't about doing something constructive, helping these kids, I'm out of it. But no, I never talked to nephew. You know what I mean? I never talked to him as he called me because I'm on all positive vibes. But I will talk to him.
And months later, Big U would appear on No Jumper in an interview where he seemingly apologized to Quando and indicated that there had been a miscommunication.
Somebody got to be a man at some point and say they was wrong. Like as far as Quando Rondo. I was wrong for saying it, but he was wrong for not reaching to his homeboy. And then on the same line that I reached out to you, you reached back out to me on it. You know what I'm saying? But I apologize to my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where it starts and stops. Somebody got to apologize. They was wrong. I was wrong.
And then a couple of months later, in August 2021, Quando is in Los Angeles on a trip the year before the death of Lil Pap. And on this trip, he would appear in a sit-down interview with Big U himself, the ridiculously titled Checking In podcast on World Star Hip Hop, with Big U starting off the podcast welcoming Quando to LA.
Checking in with my young fella, Quando. Yeah, man. What's up, young fella?
Good, man.
Is you in California, huh?
He did.
Quando thought it was all good.
You know what I'm saying? Man, I'm glad to have you, man.
These two would seemingly patch over their past feud and exchange mutual apologies, with Big U elaborating, saying that his nephew said that he did Quando wrong and vouched for him.
As a man, my little homie called me, and he told me, Unc, you was wrong. But I'm going to say I was wrong, too, because you said I was wrong.
This was an interesting interview where Quando would open up about a lot of things he was going through during this time. Quando feels that every song he puts out, people assume he's dissing certain people, but he says he has so many beefs going on that people actually get it wrong.
I be saying like a lot of stuff I say like in songs and stuff like this ain't the only person I have a problem with. Like I ain't talking to this person. Anything say, they gonna put it that way.
Quando would also explain that his enemies are actively trying to stop his money by making shows so dangerous that venues keep on canceling.
They trying to stop my money. You feel me? Fans thinking I'm high when they don't know, like I'm dying to do shows and stuff.
Big U would also explain the process of checking in with Quando, saying exactly what a rapper should expect if they check in with the Rollin' 60s in LA.
You might check in with me. I'm gonna tell you what clubs to go to and what clubs not to go to. They ain't dealing with the right people. If I go to Chicago, if any of my artists is going different places, I tell them call this dude. Because he treated me right, he gonna treat y'all right.
Quando would also claim that he could never stop being a
Quando gave them niggas his itinerary, bro. He checked in with them niggas, told them niggas where he was gonna go. That's how Durk and them knew everywhere he was going, and they can stalk him. See, this some bullshit, and this some bullshit the nigga doing, because it was unnecessary. You feel what I'm saying? That's crazy, man. But
I'm real heavy, like on cripping. Period.
See?
I'm gonna do that to the day I die. Sometimes I ask the Lord, when I be asking the Lord for forgiveness, first thing pop up in my head is, well, I can't stop being no crip, though. You feel me?
Quando would explain that you don't have to be a killer to be a crip, and that anyone can identify as a crip.
I always tell them, like, cuz, you don't have to be a killer to be a crip. You don't have to be no shooter to be no crip. You ain't gotta be no jack boy to be no crip. You could be a dentist and be a crip. You just a crip. That's a dentist.
Quando and Big U seemingly left things on good terms after this interview. However, a year later, after the Los Angeles assassination attempt on Quando Rondo that claimed Lil Pab's life, Big U would appear on social media, seemingly taking a dig at Quando, saying that if he took a loss, he wouldn't leave his gang, and there would be no crying from him.
Imagine all the dudes, and when the storm came, they folded their tent, they went inside, or they shut down. No. They ain't want no real dude.
Mr. Wisdom brother right here though. You just had that man killed. The man say he don't want to have nothing to do with Crip no more. See, that's not the reaction he wanted. See, this disgusting bastard was hoping, hey, if he lived, then that's gonna make him come closer to us. You feel me? Now you really got to get into the embrace of the rolling 60s. Quando say, hell no, nigga, I'm done being rolling 60. Ooh, that pissed Big U off.
When it get hard for me, I get quiet and I get still because I need to hear all the doors is open.
Then, a week later, on September the 6th, 2022, Quando Rondo would come out on social media to say publicly that he's no longer representing the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips and that he's laying his blue bandana down, essentially explaining that the Rollin' 60s neighborhood Crips in LA are linked up with his ops, essentially inferring that someone from the LA Rollin' 60s is who set him up to get shot at in LA, leading to Lil Pab's death, all on behalf of somebody trying to avenge King Von, with Quando saying it don't take rocket science to see what's going on, and ending the message saying that he's now just going to focus on his family and his loved ones. In response to this, LA Crip Jay Stone would reply saying you can't just drop your flag and quit the gang, and that real Crips lose homies all the time, and not everyone is going to slide for you. Quando would seemingly respond to this with a follow-up post, essentially warning people not to talk about him, saying he doesn't care because he's rich, has 200K, and can knock down anyone in his way. One theory about how the Rollin' 60s might have set up Quando Rondo has been linked to an LA-based Rollin' 60s rapper by the name of Brick Baby. Brick Baby dropped a verse on YG's 2016 song, the menacingly titled track Don't Come to LA, a song all about robbing and shooting out-of-towners. He'd also openly claimed not to like Quando in an August 2021 No Jumper interview, calling him out for claiming Rolling 60s and trying to get Big U and the LA Crips to try and squash his beef with Lil Durk and the Black Disciples, essentially saying that Quando needs to check in every time he comes to LA.
It's like Quando Rondo.
You're not with him.
Boy, stop. Don't come to the 60s and want to provide now that bro that boy your ass.
Well, that's gotta be weird for you because you with Durk so much.
It ain't weird for me. You know what I'm saying? You're not from Rolling 60s.
Oh, really?
You're not from LA Rolling 60s. You're not from Rolling 60s.
Right.
You gotta come talk to the streets.
Big U's a little removed from a lot of it.
Nah, he is the streets. You gotta come talk to the people who feet in the streets. You gotta come clear yourself on both angles. You get what I'm saying? You gotta come holler at somebody.
I feel it.
Period. You went to go holler at Big U. You went to go holler at Hollywood. Like, that ain't Hollywood. He really my big dog. That's my big bro. Whatever he say, if he say hold down, we gonna try as much. You know what I'm saying?
He would even claim to have connected with King Von through Lil Durk when he was alive, and despite not being a Black Disciple himself, Brick Baby said that he considers Lil Durk his brother.
Vine was in and out of jail, so I done seen Vine when I was down there in the O, all that shit, when I be going to Chicago and all that shit. If my boy lose a close homie, that's my boy. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's my boy. I'm not from BD. I'm from 60s. But you lose you my boy, like my ops, your ops at this point.
He'd even been seen in the studio with Lil Durk in the months before the shooting, and in an Atlanta vlog where he said that he'd been friends with Lil Durk and the Black Disciples all the way since 2015. Brick Baby was even rolling with OTF member Doody Low in January 2022, calling their alliance 6OTF.
How do you know my friend Brick Baby Shitra over here?
That's gang. I've been knowing bro for like 5 years solid.
Wow.
Like 7.
7. Who else you tap with out here in LA?
Brick Baby.
That's it.
I don't, you know.
6OTF. Just days after that shooting at the Beverly Center, Brick Baby would post on social media telling Quando that he's a fake Crip for not checking in with him and giving them money and guns.
If you from out of town and you banging the hood from California, you're an imitation gangbanger if you do not check in. If you do not make sure your hood is funded, you don't make sure your hood got blicks. If you don't make sure your hood got sticks,
y'all let this thing come to y'all hood.
The kids is eating over here. A couple who put you down with the play family is straight. You're an imitation because a motherfucker don't deal with the same enemies we deal with in LA.
Brick Baby goes on to comment on Quando's claim of dropping his Rolling 60s Crip flag, saying that Quando can't leave a gang that he was never in.
You can't leave a hood that you never was in. You claiming our hood. You cannot leave a hood you never was in unless you just get put off. Stop claiming it. If you don't want to deal with street politics, stop gangbanging.
With all of this content floating around, It's no surprise then that rumors would spread that Brick Baby had something to do with this. Allegations which he personally denied on social media.
Stop playing with my name, cuz. Stop playing with my name. Point blank, period. On 6-0 Chris. Die every day. Don't got nothing to do with me. On 6-0, you internet ass, steady putting stories together. You is on the street. No, I don't got nothing to do with it. Stop calling my phone talking about, oh, hey, you know, man, on 6-0, man. On hood, them boys got hot. On 6-0, ain't none of my crashing out Beverly Hills in broad daylight. What's wrong with you?
With this whole situation even provoking a response from NBA Youngboy, who said, wait till I start talking. However, from here, Brick Baby would bizarrely go on to do a series of interviews speaking on the situation directly, telling Cam Capone News that Quando was smart to try and squash his beef with Big U.
It was a great move for him, like, to go check in with the big dog, because that's our big dog. So you trying to get him to soften up the people that's around your age and, you know what I'm saying, still outside. He's still outside too, but you get what I'm saying, to soften it up for us. So if we come around and just say I did something to him and he called Big Bro, like, oh, but Big Bro called me like, man, I told you it was cool. You know what I'm saying? He went that way. But the whole thing is that's not the age group that you beefing with. You know what I'm saying? You beefing with Durk, right? You want to get a message to Durk, that's my boy. So the age group that you dealing with, he still, even when Unc get the message, he gonna have to call me to get the bro. I'm the closest one to bro. You get what I'm saying?
Brick Baby would also express how surprised he was when he heard that Quando, an apparent Roland 60 Crip, had killed a Chicago black disciple, the King Von situation, with Brick Baby thinking that he'd thought Quando had a good relationship with the black disciples because of his earlier connection to Lil Durk.
I'm like, damn, a 60 killed the BD? Like, they don't know how close we is? Like, these are boys. Like, what the been going on? And I'm like, he's been living in LA. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are boys. Like, what is going on?
But Brick Baby once again would outright deny being responsible, saying you must be smoking dope to believe that.
With me with 2 strikes, what I'm gonna get out of putting for killed broad daylight in Beverly Hills, man, you gotta be smoking good crystal. You gotta be smoking big dope, Chris Brown style. You know what I'm saying? Dead homies. Wrong crib.
Brick Baby would later be asked in a September the 11th, 2022 interview with Cam Capone News about these rumors that continued to spread that he was personally involved in the incident that claimed Lil Pab's life, with Brick Baby claiming to have been in Atlanta at the time of the incident.
There was the Quando Rondo situation at the Beverly Hills, in Beverly Hills at the gas station. I guess there was rumors about you.
Yeah. I was in Atlanta, so 100% the police know what's going on. You get what I'm saying? I'm gonna let the police do their job, because I ain't not finna put me in the middle of no murder while I'm raising my kids.
He would go on to say that he wouldn't even comment whether or not he was involved with it.
Now, if y'all caught me slipping on camera and I really popped something and y'all got it, like, it's on the internet, it's like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't be commenting on it, though. I wouldn't be saying, hey, leave my name out of it. I'd probably go the scary way and just blank out all social media and just get up out of here somewhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about it. They're going to have to come find me. I'm not operating with a phone or nothing after I do.
He would also go on to say that he isn't surprised that people think he's involved due to his past history with Lil Durk, but he denied believing that Lil Durk could have possibly been involved in the hit.
Were you surprised when you started hearing rumors about yourself?
Hell yeah. No, hell no. As soon as I seen, at first I seen, all right, I landed in Atlanta, boom. They say he got shot at a football game in South Georgia. He was shot too. So I'm looking, I'm like, damn, ain't catch a break. Because I was like, didn't he just lose a homeboy like the day before that or something? I'm like, watch what the internet do with this. I already knew it was coming. I just was laughing. I doubt Durk had something to do with 600. Like, I don't see how.
A few days later, Brick Baby even said in a September the 15th, 2022 interview that there's an old saying that you're not a rolling 60 until you kill another Rollin 60, an allusion to the death of Nipsey Hussle at the hands of Eric Holder, another Rollin 60.
At a point, it was like everybody in LA used to say, "Oh yeah, you ain't a real 60 till you kill a 60." But it's like our hood big, and it been internal beefs for years.
He would also clown Quando Rondo for attempting to change sets after the death of his friend, laughing at him for trying to tap out the gang like it's wrestling.
Have you ever thought about leaving the set alone? Because recently there was a young rapper who said he's done with that. He said he's done with that. But
hey, I said 1, 2, 3. Man, never in life. Even if I was like, we got retired gangbangers in the hood.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? It's the way you go about it. You don't never drop your flag, though.
Around a month after the shooting, Brick Baby would be seen on social media flexing with bundles of cash and releasing a new song with OTF artist C3, a track called Brick Lato. A track which had C3 rapping, "I heard they claim in 60, have them real hoods get at you," as well as rapping, "They drop that location, we at your spot, we pulling up like peekaboo," with this release sparking yet more speculation that Brick Baby had actually been signed to Lil Durk's OTF label just a month after the shooting, with an OTF affiliate jumping on this song with him, seemingly claiming responsibility for the deed. But Brick Baby would duly deny his involvement in the incident in yet another Cam Capone interview.
And then there was the rumors about you signing to OTF. Is there anything to that?
Nah, man, it ain't nothing to it. I mean, it's OTF. We got in the works, but it ain't no locked in type situation. They just see me on the ground with a gang of money and just think that it's that.
However, Brick Baby would continue to drop songs like the track Murder Dance with I Swear Vezo, where he raps, "I just gave 100 bands to my murder man. I prepaid for 10 bodies. And he don't need a stretcher, he need a body bag. He was dissing on the net, we finally caught his ass. Only thing I'm regretting is I ain't wear a mask." And lyrics saying, "Broad daylight, knock his brains out, dropped 50 on his car, knock his frame out." But Brick Baby would have people really surprised when he said outright in a No Jumper interview with Poetic Flacco that people can no longer tell Lil Durk that he needs to slide for Von because of what happened to Lil Pap.
Oh, they did something. Oh, slide for him. Oh, you a bitch. Oh, yeah.
Slide for Von, right? Yeah.
They say you can't say that no more.
Why? Oh, yeah, because of... Wait, no. Like,
They
who died?
say you can't say that no more.
Oh, because of FBG Cash? Or who?
Nah, because Lil Pop.
Oh. What's that?
But I'm just saying, they just say you can't say that no more. That's the new term, like no more slide for mine.
And do you feel like you now have earned your way into the quote-unquote OG status now?
Definitely.
Right.
Not like that. It's just like because of the way I carry myself.
He would go on to say that Quando has to lay in the bed that he made by not showing love to the Rolling 60s Crips in LA.
You should have been doing the right thing from off the rip. That's what they say. The bed, you gonna lay in the bed that you make. That's just a perfect example. Like, hey, if you would have handled your connections or your people, whatever you had, the right way before it jumped off.
And saying that Quando was dumb for beefing with Durk, who has $20 to $30 million to his name.
And just signed a deal for like 20, 30 million, Durk, right?
Yes.
Who the f the beef would come for you? Nigga got too much money, man. You get what I'm saying? Like, listen, man.
Don't beef with rich people.
Don't beef with rich people, man. Unless you gonna slide.
Beef with young
you don't need to say nothing out loud. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, point blank, period.
Why you didn't put that money on young boy?
These bold comments attracted shock on Twitter from other apparent members of the Rolling 60s Crips, and Brick Baby would later deny his comments were self-snitching, reaffirming once again that he has nothing to do with the shooting.
Never said nobody did nothing. The dead homies. I ain't say Durk did nothing. I ain't say nobody
running
did
from
nothing.
young boy and running the corner.
Say you can't
Running
say
from
slide
the
for Von.
crazy Louisiana
We don't got nothing to do with them games the boys just playing. 6-7. Dead homies. And I doubt Durk just got called just rolling around in money.
LA, come on, let's make it make sense.
But even as recently as April 2023, Brick Baby is still releasing music like his most recent track, Not Enough, which came with lyrics where he seemingly admitted outright to lining people up and boldly proclaiming to have been paid in excess of $1 million for setting someone up to get killed. All of these public statements paint a picture of the LA Rollin' 60s being involved in this incident. But for the record, at the time of making this video, this crime is still completely unsolved, and there's been no substantial evidence to tie anybody to the murder of Lil Pab. This murder, just being the latest senseless killing, is yet another dark moment in hip-hop history. Just like the death of King Von, there really are no winners here. Thankfully, Quando Rondo survived this assassination attempt, but he still lost one of those people who had been closest to him throughout his entire come-up. Fortunately, Quando wouldn't be deterred, and he would return to music, channeling his pain into yet more meaningful hit songs. In fact, Quando Rondo would team up with both NBA Youngboy and Lil Tim to record an entire album of music, speaking openly on everything that had happened over the past few years. King Von's sister would announce from his Twitter account on February the 11th, 2014, that he would be home from jail tomorrow, with footage of Von cutting off his ankle monitor and throwing up gang signs circulating online after his release. When he got back out, he would be back on the streets and involving himself in gang politics once again. His first tweet out was dissing the ops, of course. He would also openly wonder where T-Roy went, as apparently his partner in crime had ended up in jail himself during this time. Also upon his release, Von would also tweet at famous names in the Chicago drill scene like Boss Top, Lil Reese, Chief Keef, E-Day, Rondo No. 9, and Capo. He would then go on to diss two people that he allegedly killed, Modell and Crack, but at least initially, it didn't appear that Von was able to commit any more acts of violence, because apparently, following his release, he would wind up on house arrest for a short period. But that didn't stop him from posting pictures of himself at home, dissing Tuka with a gun sticking out of his pocket. Pictures of Von with famous BD hitters like T-Roy and D-Rose would circulate around this time, with the likes of Chief Keef even reposting them as a sign of respect for the most feared local shooters. With Von also sharing pictures of his crew to Twitter openly, with the caption simply reading, gang members. Von would also tweet about it being a very scary year for the ops, even tweeting disrespectful collages featuring photographs of rivals who had been killed recently. Von didn't care one bit what he was posting on Twitter, and honestly, it didn't seem like the police cared either. Von tweeted openly that he will kill someone on St. Lawrence, promising to shoot ops in the face and kill them fast, dropping mocking tweets about people he had allegedly killed like Modell. He would pledge to drop even more bodies, even tweeting that he was shooting as soon as he got off house arrest, and tweeting that he just got a new gun and he wanted to do a drive-by with it. Now, on March the 25th, 2014, GD rapper Lil Mark, associated with a crew called 051, would drop a song called No Competition. This would be a remix of Black Disciple rappers Lil Durk and Lil Reese's 2013 song Competition. Lil Mark would essentially use Lil Durk's beat to diss him and his OTF crew from Lamron. But it wasn't just Durk that was getting dissed. Lil Mark would diss numerous people associated with the Black Disciples, including people from both O Block and an affiliated crew of BDs known as 600. Lil Mark's song would mock O.D. Perry and J Money and see him rapping openly that he is a Black Disciple killer, as well as proudly repping his affiliations to his gang set 051 Young Money. This song made Lil Mark a huge target for both O Block and 600. And around this period, King Von would frequently tweet that he was in traffic, riding around the city, armed and looking for ops to kill. On March the 28th, 2014, Von would tweet that he was in traffic, tagging D-Rose, an infamous shooter from the O-Block affiliated set 600, with D-Rose himself tweeting that the cops hate to see Von, T-Roy, and him all together. Von would tweet gunshot emojis around 10 AM on the 28th of March 2014. And only a few hours later, that very same day, around 1:30 PM, it's believed that a large group of gang members were riding around in a silver minivan with Florida license plates, most likely a stolen car. Meanwhile, a 20-year-old Mark Campbell, aka Lil Mark, was at a bus stop on the 300 block of East 51st Street. It's believed that that minivan pulled up and a masked man jumped out, shooting Lil Mark in the head, with Mark ultimately being pronounced dead at the scene only minutes later at 1:41 PM, and that minivan connected to the shooting being found in flames at 6:30 PM that very night. It's widely believed that D-Rose was the shooter, with King Von being present for this murder. D-Rose even posted a clip to social media of him and his friends returning to the scene of the crime and filming, where King Von can allegedly be heard in the background of the car.
Hey, so took off 51st.
Damn, body down.
I was not going to see you, bro.
I'm not.
Tweaking, bro.
Body down. 51st gang.
Man,
D-Rose would tweet, call him, never heard of him, with a laughing face just 36 minutes after the killing. King Von would tweet, just 42 minutes after the shooting, die why, with a bunch of laughing faces, with this being a sign of disrespect to Lil Mark's gang 051 Young Money. That tweet was then followed by Von saying 051 better keep their head up with a bunch of laughing emojis. Then he says he lives for this, F the ops. And just in case there was any doubt about King Von being present for that murder, he would also reply to somebody on Twitter discussing Lil Mark, saying outright he just saw the murder, with King Von going on to tweet at other O-Block affiliates that they would be celebrating that night. Von was speaking so recklessly on Twitter, his sister would even tell him to go in the house, with the defiant Von replying to her with gunshot and demon emojis, then tweeting that Lil Mark's death was getting him attention from women, even going as far to say that Lil Mark's pregnant girlfriend might have cheated on him, followed by another tweet a few days later where Von claimed that he leaves people dead at the bus stop just like Tuka, a tweet that's even more disrespectful when you learn that Lil Mark was actually Tuka's older brother. D-Rose would also tweet the day after the murder, saying you ain't gotta ask who shot him, indicating that he was indeed the shooter of Lil Mark, as well as proudly saying that he was smoking on Marco. But Von and D-Rose weren't the only ones celebrating the death of Lil Mark, because Lil Durk, the original subject of Lil Mark's diss song No Competition, released just 3 days before he was killed, would end up making a trip to the very bus stop where Mark was gunned down, with Durk telling his followers that this was a very special place.
Hey, this bus stop right here though, this a real famous place, you hear me? It's a real famous place, baby. Hey, this bus stop, that's a real famous place, baby. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Because of all of the attention from rappers about this incident, Lil Mark's death became news beyond the local Chicago papers, with this killing taking place during the heyday of DJ Academic's War in Chirac series, where Academics would report satirically on the Chicago drill scene and the shocking crimes going on within it. King Von himself would even go on to rap about killing people at bus stops many years later, as well as on the song Exposing Me, where he says that he is smoking Lil Mark and Tuka. And Lil Durk would go on to do the same thing, rapping in the December 2014 track War with E-Day 600, also saying that he is smoking Lil Mark and Tuka. Now, it's never been definitively confirmed who killed Lil Mark, but it's widely believed that the two most likely hitters are D-Rose or King Von. But whether or not King Von actually did it, he clearly got a lot of gratification from just witnessing this murder, further fueling this strange bloodlust that he was cultivating around this time. If he wasn't the one killing, then he would at least want a front row seat and an opportunity to tweet about it. However, it would be the next murder that would seemingly be Von's most proud moment in the streets, because he would end up finally catching somebody who he had wanted to get for years, leaving clues on Twitter all the way up to the killing. And then, in an insanely twisted turn, not only would Von get away with the murder, but he would go on to appear in a documentary interview about the victim without anybody even working out that the killer that they were looking for was sitting right in front of the camera.
In other Youngboy news and in other Lil Durk news, there has been a little back and forth between Youngboy and Durk. Now, it had been floating around that essentially, like off the back of comments that I believe, was it Gilly or Wallow had made, suggesting that he wanted to get Youngboy and Durk together on a concert to headline his show. Now, I saw this going viral, and I was thinking, what a dumb thing to say. That ain't never going to happen, because these guys are literally at war. They are quite literally at war. And you want to get them together for your show. Okay. Long shot.
As headliners at the Gilly Fest, it would be NBA Youngboy and Lil Durk. If both of them could hit the stage in the same night, it could show the youngins that
that's major.
That shit ain't that serious, man. The beef ain't that serious. None of this drama ain't that serious. Nothing we got going on that serious.
But it is. This is the thing I don't get. We're going to show the youngins, man. It ain't that serious. It ain't that serious. It is. That's it. But it is. It is. And we're about to see why it is. We're about to see what it is. Trust me. Hold tight. Hold tight, because I got some hot info off the presses here.
And it's all about giving the fans what they want and making money.
That's what it's about.
So that's what it will be about for me. If I have to.
So that was said. And then this was said. A Youngboy popped out. And look, I could tell from the start that this was some cap. But a lot of people bought it. A lot of people were on board for the ride. And you know what I'm saying? Youngboy came out. He said he talks to Durk every few nights. Now, I think this could be true. I think the statement that Youngboy talks to Durk every few nights could very well be true, but I don't think it's a nice kind of conversation.
LG, man, I talk to Durk like every 2-3 nights, man. He be trying to talk to me about my music, and he focused on $1 billion right now. Hey, you let them, hey, get him to let me out this house. I hit that stage for you. How you want me to come? Every chain on or just one chain?
YB said, ain't that serious? He talks to Durk every 3-4 days. He's ready to hit the stage with all of his chains. Now, this was followed by a post from Durk. I really hate that this is here. Do that going away. Lil Durk came out with a post. He said, "You lied about sending the address 7 times when I asked. I'm finna grab my coat one more time. Send the address." Now, this is a very stupid thing to say, because if you don't know, Youngboy's address is public. Okay, this is a song from his recent tape, Decided To. All right, his address public. And look, I'm sure I could find Youngboy's address very easily. All right, but look, this is a known thing. His address public. So Durk, yo, all right, you lied about sending the address 7 times. I'm gonna grab my coat, send the address. It's cap. The tone of this message, I'll be real with you. The tone of this message, kind of funky, and a little bit off, if I'm honest with you. Something ain't right with this post. Something ain't right. So Youngboy just responded to this. All right. So they're doing a whole fake squashing the beef thing. But Youngboy, on the one hand, is sort of fake, not really squashing the beef. See, he's saying, yeah, we talk all the time. You know what I'm saying? Just let me know. Should I hit the stage? I'm going to hit the stage with you. But you can tell there's a little bit of mischief in his voice. Then Smirk comes out with this one saying, "You lied about sending the address. I'm going to pull up. Send me the address. Send me the addy. I'm going to get you. You know what I'm saying? We sliding. If you ain't gonna do it, grab a gun, front the money for a stolen car." We had him screaming, no. Of all the things that Durk has said about Quando, about Youngboy, about the whole situation with Von losing his life, Durk ain't forgotten about what happened to Von. That was his brother. That was his evil twin. Durk ain't forgotten, and the tone of this message says to me that Durk is keeping that shit gangster. And then this one comes out. All right, then this drops.
My PO gotta prove you it don't work like that. You gonna send my head to jail. You gonna throw the concert of the century. Bro, my PO gotta.
So YB comes out tagging Lil Durk. He says, laughing face, I love the fuck out. I love the fuck out of you. Help me, bitch. Lil Durk. And he says, it don't work like that. You can't just come to my house. My PO's got to approve you. You know, you're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me locked up. But he's basically saying, you really want to go to war about it? You're going to get me locked up. But you got to read between the lines of what's really being said here. A lot of people are saying they're low-key flirting. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like Youngboy trying to rizz up Lil Durk. But I'm going to keep it real with you. I've got a big reveal. There may be another reason why Youngboy and Durk might want to play nice. And it all has something to do with the impending RICO case that everybody has been saying is going to drop on Lil Durk's lap any day. Now, this is crazy. Okay, so this has been going around today. Shout out to my researcher Miko who sent me this today. So this clip has been going around. Does this mean Durk is next in line for the RICO? Now, I believe this is on Chloe Oliveira's channel. Was this? I'm not sure if this is the original source for this. I know there was another channel. Let me see if I can find it. So it was on the Loyalty and Betrayal channel. Originally, there's an hour and a half like breakdown of the situation here, but there's a little 6-minute piece here. A lot of people are saying that the Durk RICO is just around the corner, and he needs to play nice for Youngboy if he wants the feds to be on his side. So let's take a quick look at this video. It's going to be the last thing I'm going to cover tonight. And let's just hear a little bit more about this potential Durk RICO. And it's, as far as I know, not about the situation with Youngboy and Quando and Lil Pab and all of that stuff. Actually to do with the murder of Lil Durk's brother D-Thang and a potential murder for hire situation for the supposed get back at a gas station for D-Thang, which Durk has rapped about numerous times.
They'll get him for that get back for D-Thang.
All right, so for all you viewers, you see it in black and white. Murder for hire be committed. Go check out my live I just did, talking about whether or not Durk's going to be indicted on a RICO Act for murder for hire homicide 2 is what these guys are being charged with. And these guys are being accused of killing the victim that the street is saying is responsible for D-Thang's death. Now, I got all the paperwork. I got the...
Now, look, I don't know. Right now, these are just allegations. But if it's a murder for hire plot, who done the hiring? Are the murderers going to flip? Was this get back for D-Thang? It's sounding crazy. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely going to happen, but this would be the perfect reason for Durk to be playing nice with all of his main ops on the internet.
Indictment. Got all the warrants, everything. Went over all the documents on my live. You guys want to get the swoop on the whole 9 yards of it?
Durk,
come on and check out
Durk gonna clear that Chicago.
my live that I dropped on my channel here on YouTube.
Killers finna go to jail.
It's got all the details, photographs from the footage, the whole 9 yards. Warrants from the Facebook accounts, what they found on the Facebook accounts, everything. So for all of y'all that's been curious, been asking, is Durk going to get brought up on any charges? Why did Durk get cleared out in Atlanta so easily? I think we just found some of the answers to all those questions. Come check this out. It's right here in black and white.
That's what's being said, man. So look, there's a whole video about it. There's a whole breakdown. I haven't had a chance to look into it yet, but this is essentially a case that's recent.
Yeah, we're gonna look into that. We're gonna look into that too. Not tonight, but I absolutely know that Durk hooked himself up to that D-Thang murder because he bragged about it. That was his brother. He been playing tough. Feds probably got him on wide taps talking tough about that murder. He definitely had to show he was a boss and kill the people who killed his brother, no?
They got me feeling like I'm academics.
Do I sound good now? Put ones in the chat if I sound good. You guys can hear me and it's not sound like crap.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pull up your live stream right now.
It should be. Yeah, it sounds much better.
All right, cool.
All right.
All right.
Perfect. Yo, so chat, I was trying to get Myron on. Obviously, Myron's like a night owl, a morning type of guy. You know, if he's not in the gym doing some fresh and fit shit, you know, doing some research, arguing with, you know, God knows who on X. My boy's always putting in work. I wanted to get Myron on here. You guys all know when it comes to us tapping into so many of these criminal cases, especially this year, Myron has been such a huge help, and I want to just thank him for that because he's helped us get clarity on the process behind all this. And again, I said this earlier when we were talking to Brick Baby, what we were like, again, we're trying to, because we're avid fans, yes, some of these things are going to come out in court exactly what happens, but we're reading between the lines a lot. Like we're trying to figure out indictments, we're trying to figure out criminal complaints and what's kind of hinted to that we could kind of figure out what these guys are facing. Myron is here to help us out. And we all know the biggest case right now, which came really unexpected, right? And I won't say biggest case, but like at least most pertinent cases that this week is the Lil Durk murder for hire case. And this case felt like something that if Myron was still working for HSI like he used to, I'm like, I could see you writing up this goddamn affidavit. So I want to kind of give you the floor in kind of giving a reaction to what you thought when you saw this. And then I want to break down this complaint with you because I know you've written a shit ton of these.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. Thank you for having me on. Sorry that I got on so late, man. My sleep schedule is messed up. But for those that aren't familiar with me, Myron Gaines, I used to work as a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, which is the biggest investigative entity within Homeland Security. Pretty much have the same duties as the FBI. That is the same agency that arrested Diddy, which is why I was very familiar with the facts of that case because it was our HSI New York office that did it. I started my career in Laredo, Texas. Then I moved on over to Miami, Florida. And I ended up resigning because basically I started to blow up on TikTok and YouTube, and they told me, hey, you can't do both. So I ended up resigning on good terms. But that's what my experience is. I've done all types of cases, violent crime, terrorism, drug trafficking, human smuggling, human trafficking, firearms violations, everything. I actually did do a murder for hire investigation before, too.
Have you?
So I'm pretty familiar with these types of charges in this case as well. So that's kind of just the background on what I used to do. So people that aren't familiar with me, it's not just me yelling at stupid girls on Fresh and Fit. I did used to actually do this stuff when I was on the job. I got a couple directors awards, etc. But what do you want to hit me with first, Ak? And I can kind of go from there, whatever questions you got.
Okay, so we've spent an enormous amount of time kind of going into this, the indictment of the 5 guys, and then the criminal complaint for Durk. So, you know, I feel like this might even be too much just to do within one stream, but what we definitely want to get accomplished today is understanding why Durk got locked up. So here's what I'm gonna throw to you. Okay, I get on stream, everyone's like, yo, you got to go see this. Some of the OTF guys, they got locked up for Lil Pob's murder. Lil Pob is the cousin of Quando Rondo. Yep. These are OTF guys. When I seen it, I said, well, okay, no one that we really know. We did know OTF DD, but no extra big name, right? While that's happening, we're covering the indictment. It's kind of like saying some stuff. There's 5 co-conspirators in there. Co-conspirator 1 who made the hit, or not made the hit, but he put the bounty on people's heads. Co-conspirator 2 is a guy who is a shooter and was a recipient of the orders and was really integral, but he's not named. But he's co-conspirator 2. Conspirator 3 is the guy, he's using the OTF credit card. He's booking flights. He's booking hotels. That seems like a booker. Co-conspirator 4 is someone who gave the drop. They're the one who called in and said, yo, Quando Rondo is staying at this hotel. If you guys want to come get him, this is where he's going to be. And then co-conspirator 5 is a little bit more hazy, but they're the one who gave instructions to co-conspirator 2 to go to a specific place that they could be a part of this. And that's all we know. Anyway, all that happens. We're reviewing all that. And around 8 p.m., now that we find out, Lil Durk was taken into custody around or near what we believe is the Opa-locka Executive Airport. Supposedly, he was going to board a private jet that was scheduled to leave the Miami-Dade area at 9 p.m. and it was headed a one-way to Italy. He was locked up. He then was put in Broward County Jail, showed up to court the next day, and what was then unveiled was what's seen as, and again, I have it up here on my screen. I don't know if you have all the documents. I should have forwarded you everything.
No, I got everything in front of me. You're good. I'm looking at the complaint. I'm pulling up the indictment right now.
Perfect. Says criminal complaint by telephone or other reliable electronic means. And this is where I want you just to take me through this based on everything you've seen and everything you've known. This is your wheelhouse. You've worked this as an agent. You've seen this come by your desk a million times. You've written criminal complaints. What are we looking at here? Give us a perspective from an agent.
All right. So I'll kind of go through this, like what I predict went down as to why this case is a bit discombobulated, right? So at first, the indictment comes out and 5 OTF guys are indicted and charged, right? Simultaneously, there were also search warrants done at the same time, right, in Chicago. And these guys got arrested. So it looks to me as it's the FBI out of Los Angeles that's running this case in coordination with FBI Chicago, as well as FBI Miami, given where Durk was at. So when they executed these search warrants and arrest warrants, they probably had enough to get Durk. But what I anticipate was they were going to pick up these 5 guys, let them stew in jail, flip one of them, build a stronger case against Durk, and then indict him later, which is why he wasn't on the original indictment with grand jury.
Wait.
However,
say that one more time. Say that one more time.
So what I anticipate is that they did the search warrants, and their strategy was probably to pick these guys up, these 5 individuals, arrest them, and get one of them, if not all of them, to turn against Durk, and then indict Durk later on in what's called a superseding indictment.
Ooh. Right? So you believe that they were probably looking for maybe a cooperator or another one, because they might have one already, right?
Yeah. Because when you go as someone that has the means and the resources to fight against you, right, in court, you want to make sure that you have your T's crossed and your I's dotted, because the thing is, you can't take his money away because his money is legit. You can't seize his funds. So, he's made his money legitimately through music. So you're not going to be able to kind of starve him financially that way of a legal team. So, all right, this is obviously a high priority target. Let's get as many sources as we can before we come at him and indict him. However, what they didn't anticipate was him trying to flee, right? So I'm pretty confident. I mean, for me reading the affidavit, I mean, it was like, it made everything made sense. Because when I looked at the indictment, right, because first the news came out that Durk was arrested. Then I was like, okay. Then I opened up the indictment and I looked, wait, he's not charged here. What the fuck? So I was like, they're either holding him on a state charge or they're trying to file a criminal complaint when they locked him up. Then when I read the criminal complaint, I was like, okay, now I know why they did this. They basically, what happened was, and it says here, criminal complaint by telephone or other reliable electronic means. What that basically means is the agent wrote the affidavit and he FaceTimed the judge. And the judge signed it through FaceTime. I've done this myself before.
FaceTime the judge or a regular call? You got to break this down very, very, because we have no idea this process. How does this work? Like, so just walk us through this, because I was also thinking, remember, the details come out that there's 3 international flights, right? That they're working with the border and customs patrol people, and they're like, hey, Durk is on the manifest for 3 flights out of the country. One's going to Switzerland, one's going to Dubai. And by the way, the Switzerland one was going to stop in Jersey. The Dubai one was going to stop in Qatar. And then the third one was a straight flight via private jet to Italy. How, like, again, they don't know what he's going to get on. I'm guessing he maybe booked flights for a different, like, to kind of like fake people out or whatever the case is. How do you make this call to a judge to get this? Like, break it down. So let me put myself in the case agent's shoes. It looks like it's a chick here, Sarah from the Cora Karan, Special Agent FBI. So she's probably assigned, well, she actually is assigned. I read her bio here. She's assigned to FBI LA and the Violent Crimes Task Force, right? Ooh, okay. So which every FBI field office has a group called Safe Streets Task Force, Violent Crimes. They do bank robberies, gang shit, RICOs like this, etc. Right? So she's in this squad, right? So she's a case agent on this. She probably been investigating this for what looks like a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it may be, right? So she goes ahead and she probably gets a phone call, or she has somebody that will, okay, let's go through this. These violent crime task forces typically have law enforcement officers from other agencies, okay? And a lot of the times HSI and or customs is on these task forces because the FBI doesn't have really customs authority like that and immigration authority, right? They have it, but it's very watered down. So doesn't HSI have it though? You said FBI doesn't have it.
HSI does have it.
Okay.
So when you're on these task forces, right? She probably put a hit on Durk so that if he ever tries to leave the country, she'll get notified, right? That's why if you look at the complaint, it says CBP databases, Customs and Border Protection. So she got notified that he booked flights and that he was intending to leave. When she got this hit, she was like, oh, shit. Go ahead.
And I know I'm probably slowing down you with the explanation, but, we're also mirroring it to Diddy because we've heard this narrative. Diddy should have ran. Diddy should have done this. He should have got out of Dodge. Do you believe that maybe similar? Because they look like they were aware of this. It's not like they were like, oh, where did he go? They were aware of this more than just like tailing him physically. They knew that he booked these flights. Do you think that they probably had some sort of the similar, kind of surveillance on Diddy, where like if he ever planned to fly out, like while they were about to indict, they would be like, hey, we're gonna hit him with a complaint. Sorry.
Yeah, 100%, because HSI controls the ports. So if you try to leave, that's the worst agency to try to run from because they know everyone coming in and out of the country because that falls under immigration. Now, the FBI doesn't have access to these CBP databases that they're talking about, but they definitely have task force officers a lot of the time assigned to their units, and they can put text hits on people as well to try to like figure this stuff out. So the point I'm trying to make here is that when he was trying to leave, they knew that he was going to leave even though he booked multiple flights. So as soon as she got the notification that he was trying to leave, this is why she called her AUSA. This is what she did. She gets the hit that he's going to leave. She calls her prosecutor. Hey, AUSA XYZ, my Durk is trying to run.
Wait. Just give me one second. Hey, chat. What are you saying about Myron's mic? Because I could hear him. For whatever reason, they feel it's not clear.
It's not clear. All right, let me see here. Because you can hear me clearly, right?
No, I can hear you, but I feel like they're saying it's either, I don't know if it's peaked or like it's. How can I describe it?
Yeah, let me go check here real fast.
Yeah, because I've definitely heard you and you're much clearer before. Like I hear you definitely.
Okay, I got input and output correct. I'm looking at the sound. Is there certain settings you want me to put here? I got it. It's noise suppression, standard, none, crisp.
I ain't gonna lie, I have no idea. Someone said like, oh, you're too loud through your input, so like it's coming over as if you're peaking, right? So it comes.
Let me bring the volume down more. Does that sound better now, chat?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Give me ones if that sounds better, chat.
Oh no, that sounds like a million times better.
It does? Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, that sounds like all right. Yeah, because you were peaking so much, I had to turn you down on my end.
Okay. Yeah, bro, you should just told me right away, man. I turned it down. Yeah, chat. Give me ones if this is good now.
Yeah.
Give me one. It's good. I'm trying to look at your chat to see if
yeah, no.
Everyone's like next.
Yeah, it sounds way better. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there you go.
We got a couple audio engineers saying the mid is high. Okay. All right.
We're rocking though. We're rocking good. All right, perfect. Chat. Sorry for the little, snafu, but okay, perfect. So,
all right,
keep it going. I don't know where you were in your train of thought.
We're talking about. So let me go summarize real quick so everybody hears what we were talking about. So so she obviously has an open case against OTF, right? She indicts 5 of his co-conspirators and she does search warrants on residences in Chicago. Durk gets notice of this and he tries to flee. When he books his tickets, she gets a hit through CBP databases, which the CBP databases show anytime you have a record on somebody that they're trying to leave. When she gets that record hit that he's trying to leave through probably a task force officer or someone else that works over at CBP or has access to this stuff, it could be CBP or HSI, right? Because these safe street task forces almost always have a representative from these customs agencies, right? She calls the AUSA, the federal prosecutor. Hey, Durk is trying to flee. He has 3 different flights booked to leave the United States. We need to do a criminal complaint. So the AUSA says, okay, cool. Write one up, or sometimes even the AUSA writes it up. Then it gets sent to the judge. The agent calls the judge with the affidavit in front of him, right? The judge reads the affidavit, and then the judge asks, hey, is everything here true and correct to the best of your knowledge? Raise your right hand up. Yes, it is. Boom. She swears, the judge swears her in via FaceTime. And I've done this before. Instead of going to the judge's house, it used to be, because I've done both, you would go to the judge's house and they'll swear you in. But in something like this, they probably didn't have time like that. So, and on top of that, they called the judge in Central District of California. Yeah. So they got it sworn out, and then she called FBI Miami, and then FBI Miami went to go get him.
Oh.
Makes sense? Because
it does. So wait, how do they know which judge to call?
So she has, the way it goes is this. Whenever you have a situation like this where you need an emergency warrant, whether it's a search warrant or criminal complaint, etc., there's something called the duty magistrate judge, right? And that means they're on call. They're the ones that do the initial appearances for that week. So she called her AUSA that she's been doing this case with. That AUSA called the duty magistrate, and then the duty magistrate is the one that answers the phone call. And so that the agent can get a hold of them so they can go ahead and get this warrant signed because of obviously the circumstances. So that's kind of how it goes. And the whole concept of duty, if you want me to explain this, I can explain it real quick. So like, typically there's always going to be an AUSA, that's the duty AUSA, an agent that's the duty agent, and then a duty judge. And what that means is they kind of take turns every week where they're the person that's on call fielding anything that happens off business hours. But in this case, it's the agent. She has her case with OTF. The AUSA, she called her AUSA, and then the AUSA called the duty magistrate, and they got this warrant pushed through.
Hey, could I be cynical for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Let's say Durk gets out of the country, because I've seen a couple places report on it, and I think it's even written in the indictment, or not in the indictment, the complaint, where they're like, they felt that he was trying to go to places that didn't have maybe what they call a bilateral extradition treaty.
Yeah.
Well, the last place was going to be Italy. I think we in Italy have a pretty good a pretty good relationship. I don't know what that treaty looks like. Would he have been scot-free if he had made it out of the United States? Even if the complaint was written, but it was just written too late, and it was written and signed off too late.
Oh, this nigga should have got on went to Cuba.
It would have been a little bit easier for him because you would have to go through something called an MLAT, which whenever you have someone that's in a foreign country, for them to arrest them and then extradite them back. But there's a high likelihood he would have probably at least been detained at one of these countries had the FBI reached out to them, because the FBI has attaches all over the world. So they'll hit up their representative in that foreign country, which in Italy probably will be Rome or, Naples, something like that. And then that agent will coordinate with the local police in that jurisdiction to go get the guy and pick him up under some type of Italian law that allows them to hold suspects of crimes from other countries.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
Every big agency, whether it's HSI, DEA, FBI, etc., they have legal attaches all over the world. And those attaches' jobs are literally to be almost like the coordinator and the middleman for American law enforcement to get a hold of the foreign law enforcement. So I'll give you an example. I had a case one time that was dealing with Canada, China, and Sri Lanka, right? So I would contact an agent that was based in that region. Hey, I need help, or I need access to these police reports from this country. He would go ahead and coordinate with his counterparts, his law enforcement counterparts in said country, and then get me what I needed.
Wow. Hey, so, okay. All right. Now, what are we expecting? So first of all, he was held in Broward. Now he's in FDC Miami. He waved something called identity hearing. I don't know what that is, but I felt that was probably
identity hearing is when whenever you basically want to say oh, I'm not the person that y'all have in the arrest warrant.
Oh, okay.
I actually testified at one of these. So what? Because I remember, funny enough, I arrested a guy and he tried to say that he wasn't the same guy, and I knew he was going to try to do that bullshit. So I went ahead and I got his biometrics, his fingerprint stuff, and I brought it with me to court. And then he saw me there, and my AUSA told his defense attorney that, hey, the agent has the biometric stuff here. If you want to do this hearing, we can do it. And they waived it at the last second. But basically, it's kind of like it's to prove that you are the individual that's named in the said arrest warrant. So that's why he waived it, because he knew that they knew who he was.
Yeah. It's Durk, right? Okay. So how does extradition work? We know the U.S. Marshals are gonna, kind of transport him to Cali. How does this work? How long does this process take? Again, he was in Broward County Jail. Then we heard he's in FDC Miami. We heard that hearing his waive. How long is it going to take before him to get to California? Realistic, what do you think?
Well, there's no real urgency now, because one of the beauties of the federal system is they already went ahead and fulfilled their obligation to get him in front of a magistrate within 24 to 72 hours, right? So anytime you're arrested for a federal crime, they got to get you in front of a magistrate judge to hear the charges against you. And then, the judge gives you your amendment rights, and not the fourth. Hey, you have the right to remain silent. That you say could be used against you, blah, 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 right? And after that's done, the next thing a lot of the times is either an identity hearing, probable cause hearing, which he's actually entitled to a probable cause hearing because they filed a criminal complaint versus an indictment. If they file an indictment on you, you're not entitled to a probable cause hearing. But if they arrest you via criminal complaint like they did, he is entitled to a probable cause hearing, which is basically where they establish if there was enough PC in the criminal complaint to get him arrested in the first place, which in this case, they have more than enough. But it's another kind of safeguard that they have in the system. So I predict he'll be in California by sometime next week, but there's no real rush to move him now because he did see a magistrate judge like he was supposed to.
Now, the question then comes in for me because the mere fact that they locked him up, they must have been working on a superseded indictment, which we don't know if a grand jury has, where they are in that deliberation process. Is it now under the gun for a superseded indictment to be presented when he gets to California or no?
Yeah. So what happened was they indicted him first, and then he tried to. They indicted his co-conspirators, and then he tried to run.
Yeah.
That forced them to go get a criminal complaint to go pick him up, right? And the reason why they did this is because the whole process I mentioned with you with like MLATs and reaching out to foreign countries against people, it's extremely cumbersome and annoying. So FBI said, fuck that. We're not going to let him go to another country and bring him back. We'd rather arrest him with an 80% sure case versus letting him escape. And now we have to go ahead and file MLATs and talk to attaches and all this other bullshit. Because I'll tell you this, man, I've extradited someone from a foreign country before, and it's not fun. It literally could take years sometimes, depending on the country and our relationship and geopolitical affairs going on. So they said, we'll roll the dice. We think we have enough to at least get him in, and we can build the case while he's in. But that's why they probably pulled the trigger and went ahead and just got him while they could. I think their original strategy was to bring the OTF members in, flip them, get one of them to cooperate, and then build a strong case against them. But they said, you know what, fuck it, we got enough. We'll just get them now. But as far as the superseding indictment, they're going to have to do one now because they arrested Durk on a criminal complaint. You can't, a criminal complaint is kind of, think of it like a Band-Aid. Like it deals with the problem, but it's got to be elevated to an indictment at some point. And most jurisdictions give you about 10 to 14 days to indict. So what I predict is going to happen is they're going to file a superseding indictment, add Durk to the list, right? And then that way he'll be formally indicted. Because everyone in the United States by law has to be indicted by a grand jury, especially at the federal level. So that's probably what's going to happen in this situation. And I predict that'll happen probably within the next 10 to 14 days. He's going to be added to that original indictment with the OTF members, and then they're going to push the case forward.
Wow.
And they're going to add any other evidence that they have on Durk to that indictment.
Yeah.
Or any other purpose. Excuse me.
Like, again, I actually think that they've been watching him for a while. And from what I've heard, there might be multiple other crimes. And I don't know if that's been in a grand jury process. I don't know if it will be ready for then. Because here's the thing. I think there's multiple other murders, multiple other attempted murders, and some other shit. I don't know if they'll be able to throw all that on him then. Okay. Okay.
I agree with you. Actually, I agree with you on that. And that's why I don't think they originally indicted him up front, because they were trying to build a stronger case on Durk, and they wanted to wait, get these guys in custody and see what they would cooperate with, because obviously they're looking at murder for hire, very serious charge. These dudes are like, a lot of these guys are looking at life. So if they could flip one or two of them and help them, solve other unsolved murders in Chicago or whatever it may be, they were looking to do that. But since Durk was trying to escape, that put them in a rock and a hard place, and they had to kind of they had to give in early, right? They kind of had to show their cards earlier than they anticipated.
Okay, now I know you're very familiar with the agent level of this, but like you work hand in hand with the the AUSA or the USA attorney, depending on what you're doing. Why murder for hire as opposed to RICO? And then explain to us murder for hire, how it's seen in the federal case, because even today's stream, I had a theory. I said this stream is going to be called How to Get Away with Murder for Hire. And I think there is one way Durk could get away from this, because there isn't anything that really says where he says, yo, go kill this guy and I'll give you this. He doesn't mention anything. The only thing where he says, yo, don't put my name on anything that you're booking. It feels like it's cooperating. So if he gets a witness whacked, which obviously, the federal government would be like embarrassed, but it feels like there's witnesses tying him to this. Could you explain some of the things? I knew I threw a lot to you. So why not a RICO? And then for murder for hire, how do you build that case?
Sure. Great questions. First, let's answer why this wasn't a RICO investigation. Yeah. So RICO is difficult to build. And the reason why is because you need Department of Justice approval from headquarters to designate that organization under RICO. And it takes time, right? So I predict that they potentially wanted to go maybe a RICO route in the future, but you would need to prove, number one, that it's an enterprise, a criminal enterprise. And then number two, that they're committing crimes that are part of that are considered racketeering activity. This could be anything from drug trafficking to murder to extortion, etc.
Can I ask you a question about RICO as well?
Sure. And further, the organization is the key. But go ahead.
Does RICO, like a racketeering charge, especially on the federal level, does it usually mean or suggest that there is a pattern? Right, because here it felt like this is an isolated incident. They do allege that they've used OTF to do things like this, but they don't have a list or a pattern, and maybe that's why it's not a RICO. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that can absolutely be a part of it as well. Like it could be where they suspect that members of OTF were involved in certain crimes, but they can't necessarily prove that there were OTF members that did said crimes, right? So that's why I think the strategy was to pick up his associates and be able to build a RICO case off of their testimony. But I think Durk tried to flee, threw a wrench in everything, and they kind of had to show their cards early. So I do think that a RICO was on the table for them, but the only thing they could prove right now is murder for hire. And they were going to use the murder for hire, bring these guys in, try to see what they can build, and try to build a stronger case upon that, and maybe indict other OTF members and build a RICO case. But I think that the whole flea situation messed their stuff up.
So let's speak about murder for hire.
Yeah, sure.
How is that seen? How do those investigations go forth? And your time as an agent, how do you normally even get the guy who's at the top who never pulled the trigger and probably has some level of separation?
Yeah, good question. So I have done a murder for investigation case before, and it's a fairly clear-cut charge, right? Like basically, if you facilitate the murdering of an individual while utilizing anything that affects interstate commerce, you can be charged federally. So in this case, we got many different things that give federal nexus. We got the credit cards, we got the flights, transport, being individuals being transported interstate. We got the phones, we got the iClouds, we got all this different stuff that affects interstate commerce, which gives the feds jurisdiction, cell phone usage, etc. So as long as they can prove that you utilize any of these things in the commission of the murder, that gives them federal nexus to do it. And then the fact that they were traveling back and forth interstate, that's the easiest clear-cut version of this.
Okay.
It looked like LA homicide, the FBI and LAPD homicide worked this thing together.
Okay, so how do you connect? Like for example, let's think about the details of the situation. 5 guys travel. Well, Durk also travels there, but he goes to do a podcast. Goes to do a podcast. These other guys, they go get 2 cars. One guy go gets like gloves and ski mask. They stalk Quando Rondo, but Durk isn't there. Like, what's the key thing to tie it to someone of Durk's stature, right? Because people look at even like the Young Dolph stuff and say, well, it appears that if Big Jook was alive, y'all would have to charge him. And then people also thinking about, well, who knows? Like maybe Gotti was whatever, but Gotti never got charged. How do you get the main guy?
So typically when you're dealing with cases like this that are conspiracies and you have a higher level guy that wants to be completely out of the picture, to absolve themselves of legal implication, you have to connect them through the money. The money almost always is the best way to connect people. That's how they were able to connect 6ix9ine in his case. That's how they were able to connect Casanova to a degree. So phone communication and money are the 2 biggest ones. And given the fact that obviously it wasn't cheap to fly these guys out to LA and back and put them up in hotels and, make this happen, rental cars, all that other stuff. I mean, that's how they were able to tie Young Thug in that RICO case, because for people that are unaware, like the guy that got killed, one of the main blooded gang members that got killed, the rental car that was used to kill him was rented under Young Thug's name. So a lot of the times when you have higher level guys like this, they're almost never at the crime scene or pull the trigger themselves. Rather, they facilitate it through funding, through resources, etc. So in this case, what I predict is they're going to utilize Durk's financial aid, right, with some of the credit cards that were used to book hotels, the iClouds, the communications where he's saying, hey, don't put anything under my name. They're going to use that to show that he was involved in this conspiracy and trying to distance himself. And the fact that he tried to flee is absolutely going to be used against him as well.
Yeah, the fleeing thing was a little bit odd to me. What that told me was that it's no way he was thinking he's only going to stand trial for this. It's like he felt that maybe that they had like a litany of charges, and it's one of those where it's like, yo, I'm not going to beat this shit, so let me just run.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. And also I think the other thing that might have spooked him was when they arrested those 5 guys, he was like, oh shit, these dudes have a lot of information. Like they know all my dirty deeds. I got to get the fuck up out of here.
Wow. In a situation like this, do we expect for Durk to get any type of bond?
No. I mean, with Diddy, I was more confident that Diddy would get a bond than Durk just by how much his legal team was cooperating with the U.S. Attorney's Office. But what fucked Diddy up in his case was, so, okay, let's talk about bond real quick. When you go to a bond hearing, there's a couple of things that the government has to prove to keep you locked up. Number 1, you're a flight risk. Number 2, you're a danger to the community. Or number 3, which isn't as common but can happen, is you're going to hurt the integrity of the investigation and intimidate witnesses. In Diddy's case, he wasn't necessarily a flight risk because his team had been constantly letting the AUSA's office know where he was and cooperating. But what they got him on was a danger to community because they found a gun in one of his houses with the serial number scratched off, which is a crime. And then there was some information about his people contacting witnesses saying, hey, don't cooperate, it will pay you, etc. So that's why they ended up locking Diddy up, was because he was contacting witnesses and the gun with the scratched serial number, so they held him. In Durk's case, they're going to get him on all 3. They're going to get him on danger to community because obviously this is a violent crime. They're going to get him on flight risk because he tried to flee when he was released. And then the third is there was some talk about him potentially telling people to shut the hell up and intimidating witnesses. So he actually covers all 3. So this is going to be very easy for the government to justify and rationalize him being locked up regardless of whatever bail package he tries to come with. Because, I mean, hell, Diddy came with like a $50 million house and a bunch of other things he was willing to put up. Durk probably doesn't have that much to put up. And he's he checks the box for all the other issues that they have with flight risk and danger community. So there's no way. I don't see any way that he's going to be released on bond, especially since he tried to flee the country on 3 different flights. No way. I'd be shocked.
Yeah, that is going to be really odd. Now, based on the indictment, and
they're going to hold him until trial, bro. And him, since he's locked up, 9 out of 10 times when they hold you pending trial, most defendants push for a speedy trial. So that could maybe work in his favor because that's going to force the government to get ready within 60 to 70 days. But still, you know, they probably have it pretty iron shut because for them to go ahead and arrest his 5 homies first, one of them is going to flip. One of them will.
Yeah. So
the death
bail is looking like that's not going to happen, right? You know what people are talking about is cooperation, though.
That's what made
some people believe that there's someone who is wearing a wire. Based on what you saw in the charging documents, whether the complaint or the indictment, do you believe that anybody wore a wire, or do you think that, you know, this is a series of unfortunate events?
It's possible that they had an informant in. Whether that informant was wearing a wire, it's too early to tell now. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have someone that was either directly tied with Durk or someone that was maybe one layer away, be able to provide them this information. But from the evidence that I'm seeing right now in this criminal complaint, what they got, a lot of it is old-fashioned police work, cameras, you know, looking at financial records with credit cards, hotel bookings, basic stuff that they were able to pull, working with other agencies. So, but remember, criminal complaints 9 out of 10 times don't reveal everything they have. They just reveal what's necessary to establish probable cause. They give the bare minimum to get the guy arrested. So they might have way more. And we won't know until Durk's lawyer gets the discovery. But that's going to dictate what happens from there.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised if they didn't have at least 1 or 2 sources into the situation.
Yeah, there's been talk about a guy named OTF Jam, and like maybe he's the one cooperating. When I read through the indictment, and maybe you could help me explain this. So the 3 shooters who hopped out and shot the guy and subsequently killed Lil Pop, 2 of their names are written, and there's one guy still as co-conspirator 1. Does that mean he's like, why would they lock up 2 guys and the other guy is not locked up, and they will list him as co-conspirator 2 if he's not telling?
There's multiple different reasons for that. I mean, sometimes, they'll do that just to make things easier so that they don't constantly put a bunch of names in. It's like kind of more like a writing style thing. It could be. It could be because it's someone that hasn't been arrested yet. That could be a part of the reason why. It really depends on the situation.
So,
but it's scary.
Do you believe there was a wire used in the situation or no? Like a wire or wiretap?
Okay. When we say wire, are we talking about Title III intercepts where they're actively picking up phone calls and real-time information? Or are we talking about an informant wearing a recording device?
Second one.
Okay. Someone wearing okay. It's possible. It's possible. They didn't refer to it in any of the, at least I didn't see anything in the criminal complaint about anybody wearing a wire, but they can absolutely have it. They just didn't disclose it in the charging documents, but it's definitely possible that they had it. Or if not, there's other times where, like, okay, so when I was an agent myself, right? Whenever I dealt with like violent cases like this, like where you have gang members and, there's always this fucking imminent threat of violence. A lot of the times I wouldn't put my informant in with a wire unless like it was absolutely necessary. And the reason why is because I don't want my guy being nervous and scared and acting at a regular nature, not acting regular, because they're going to suspect him. So, and the worst thing you could have is have an informant being killed when they're like meeting up with bad guys. So there were a lot of times, bro, where I would just let him go in without a wire and he would just come back and debrief me. Now, unless if it was like a gang meeting and there were going to be some high ranking guys there, etc., that's a little bit different. But on like regular meetups or whatever, sometimes I wouldn't give them a wire because I don't want them to be nervous or be scared. And also there's other times where sometimes they'll pat them down, right? Or I would give them a very high-end recording device so they can't pick it up. But I would always be wary of my informant and them not getting killed, especially when you're dealing with gangbangers.
Wow. Yeah.
Well,
do you is it normal that all the co-conspirators, because they're saying they helped plan this thing, do they get charged? Or if they don't get charged, is it safe to assume that they've worked out a deal or a proffer?
Wait, say that again. You're saying like they got charged and what, or they didn't get charged?
So there's a bunch of people named co-conspirators, right? So we obviously know one was Durk. He did get charged on a complaint, but there's 2, 3, 4, and 5. We don't know who they are. We don't know their intention to send third. And I guess, what is it likely when you see people being listed as co-conspirator if they're not charged? Does it mean they're telling?
It could be either or. It could be, and this is why they write it this way, so that like guys like me and you can like kind of try to figure out what's going on. It could be where they are charged and they're just referring to them as a co-conspirator, or they could be people that aren't charged that we don't know about yet. So it could be either or. The only person that really knows a lot of the times is the agent and the AUSA which co-conspirator is which. So sometimes they do that to make it a bit harder for people to detect who is who. Obviously, it's all going to come out though once they pass over discovery.
Hey,
and Durk's going to know exactly who cooperated.
So I had said this before, and I'm like, yo, hey, listen, Apple won't give up like the encryption key to your phone to unlock it, but if you have some fuck shit going on in iCloud, they'll do it. It appears like they did do some iCloud checking of Durk.
Yes.
How do you do that, and why would you do it? And also, does the person ever know?
So yeah. So, and I think I've mentioned this before, and people thought I was crazy for saying it. iPhones are actually pretty hard to break if you don't have the code to get in. And on top of that, Apple won't give the feds your stuff. This is why, like, you know, FBI had like a whole legal issue with Apple not giving them codes to get into phones and stuff like that. But the iCloud is a way that you could kind of get around that. And that's why they went that route. Because whenever you don't have the actual device, you have to, what I anticipate is they got Durk's or one of the co-conspirators' iClouds, and they wrote a search warrant for it, and they were able to pull the information from the cloud.
Wow.
Versus the hard device.
Wow. Quick predictions. Do you think that do you think Durk gets out of this?
You know, bro, it pains me to say this because I actually do like Durk's music. I think he's one of the best rappers, but he's finito, bro. It's a wrap. Because I guarantee you, it's not just this murder for hire case that they got him on. I think this is just the beginning of a snowball of charges or other unsolved crimes that they're going to try to solve through him. Because there's a bunch of murders in Chicago that Durk's going to have knowledge of and his team. And at this point, yeah, I just don't think it's going to be, there's no way.
Do you think Durk could tell on anybody else that might be of interest to the cops?
I think the only way Durk is going to not have to stand tall and get damn near a life sentence is he's going to have to cooperate with the police and help them solve all those unsolved murders in Chicago, backdating, you know, when the drill era started in the 2010s.
Oh man, didn't I say this yesterday? Did I not say this yesterday? I say Durk gonna have to close that murder book. He gonna have to give it all to them, all of the murders. That's what they want. Information on all the murders, and then make a deal with him.
He would have to come forward and solve all those fucking murders and help them figure out who killed KI, who killed the ops, who killed this individual, etc. And he'd have to piece the stuff together, assuming the feds even give him that opportunity. Because keep in mind, those murders in Chicago are all state cases being run by Chicago PD and or maybe the state police. So the feds might not even give a shit about it because this is a case being charged by FBI LA. So they might not even have an interest in pursuing these unsolved murders in Chicago. But I would say that's the only way that Durk is going to get out of this and get some kind of leniency is if he helps solve all those unsolved murders in Chicago.
Wow.
Man, they'll make that deal. One dude got killed.
Pretty fucking
to solve all.
Pretty fucking sad, man.
Chicago, that's a hell of a deal. They absolutely,
because it's a federal case, so they might not have the same vested interest as the locals do. Which we know that they don't give a shit like that either, because Chicago PD's been slacking for what 10 plus years. All these unsolved murders.
Yeah, no, 100%.
All them killers in Chicago better be shook right now.
What do you what could you see, like, say the shooter, right? If he was cooperating, right? Yeah. Obviously it's in federal court, so now we're talking about 5K1 letters and shit like that. Could you see potentially maybe somebody who's a shooter testify or cooperate against Durk and gets, I don't know, 15 years?
For sure. I think that's why they picked the 5 guys up first. I think that was their original strategy, was to flip one or two of them as a primary as a key witness. They get a better deal, and then Durk does the brunt of the time. Because what's going to happen here, whenever there's like the feds come after you, right, and they charge you, you get like different times based on being like the leader or organizer of an organization or of a criminal activity. So in this case, Durk was the top guy. Like, I guarantee you this FBI file, if we were to look at it, it probably is going to be reading like Durk Banks et al. So he's the file title, which means he's the main guy.
Yeah.
They picked up those 5 guys in anticipation of them cooperating, and then they would go ahead and get a better deal in exchange for bringing Durk forward, who's the leader organizer. But they didn't anticipate that he was going to try to run like he did. So that's why they had to go ahead and do a criminal complaint via telephone, like you saw.
Yeah, no. Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. This is so intriguing, but it's so shocking. How does the feds keep this like low?
Well, I mean, it's the FBI. The FBI, as much as criticism as they get, they're pretty good from an operational security standpoint. They classify everything, which is comical because there's been times where I give them information and then I ask them for that information. They'll sit there and tell me that's classified. I'm like, what the fuck? I gave you that info. But they are pretty good at keeping things tight-lipped. Obviously they went ahead and did the Trump search warrant and all this other shit. So they do have fairly good operational security, but yeah, man, this is something that they've been doing now for a while, as you could see. As soon as King Von got killed, they probably opened up a case potentially, or if not, even before that, probably because the FBG Duck thing probably brought their attention to it as well. This agent probably worked very closely with the FBI field office out of Chicago that handled the Duck case.
All right, I'm gonna sound a little bit ignorant, but I'll ask. Okay, based on your research on whatever, if say there is no witnesses that turn up to court, do you think Durk could beat this?
Okay, let's play that scenario. Let's assume that the 5 guys that got arrested all stand tall and say, no, I'm not fucking talking. That will put Durk in a good position where he could potentially go to trial. But we still don't know who else they might have, because they might have, I'm guessing that they have other sources that provided them information, which led them to be able to indict these 5 guys. So he's still not out of the hole yet, because there might be other individuals in Durk's camp that provided the info that even got the shooters caught up. So, obviously none of these guys talking would be huge, be great for Durk, because the other individuals might not be privy to what Durk is doing that might have cooperated. But yeah, bro, this is going to be very, very difficult, because I anticipate one of these 5 is going to talk, bro.
Yeah, no. Hey, this is gonna be one of those things, man. Man, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I'm tired as shit, bro. It's 4:00 here. I'm about to hop off of this.
Lil Durk has been arrested, and it's really bad news for Durk. Folks, listen up, bruh. Lil Durk is gonna spend the rest of his life in prison.
They ask me why I'ma be in 10 years, shit, I say the feds.
And if you want to know why, keep watching this video. So by now, we know that OTF members were just recently indicted today for the murder of Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pop.
If you can't get the then you better get his gas. They used to say it, but you also mentioned a song. They be like, they be singing Slide for Vaughn. I think they trolling me. Yo, by the way, that song is fire. I ain't gonna lie.
For some reason, I just don't see the comments no more.
Sheriff's deputies pulling out a man who had been shot in an SUV.
For some odd reason. I don't know. Might be the water.
Savannah rapper Quando Rondo, a passenger in that car.
Be in the comments a lot?
They kind of chilled out a bit.
Why?
23-year-old was taken to the hospital where he died.
Now, the members who were indicted for this murder, that's currently indicted, because there are more indictments to come. The members who are currently indicted are Kayvon London Grant, a.k.a. Cuz, a.k.a. Vonnie, DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, a.k.a. OTFDD, Keith Jones, a.k.a. Flocka, David Lindsay, a.k.a. Brown Eyes, and Asai Houston, a.k.a. OTF Boogie. On August 18th, Quando Rondo landed in LA with his team. His sister was with him, his cousin Lil Pop was with him, and they was having a grand old time. Now, when Quando Rondo first landed in LA, he did the age-old tradition in hip-hop, which is tap in. Now, Quando Rondo has affiliation to a Crip set in LA. So when Quando Rondo got to LA, he tapped in. Now, who he tapped in with, we don't know, but it's not out of the ordinary to tap in with your own gang who is in the city that you're currently in. So Quando Rondo tapped in. And magically after Quando Rondo tapped in, Lil Durk and them had his drop in his location and what hotel he was staying at. Now, it's still unclear how OTF got Quando Rondo exact location, hotel, and itinerary. Maybe it's a coincidence that they got it immediately after he tapped in with the Crips in LA. Maybe it's a coincidence. But what we do know is shortly after Quando Rondo got back to Savannah, Quando Rondo took to his Instagram to drop his flag and say he no longer messed with the gangs that he was affiliated with because they F with the opposition. Hmm. I want let's not ponder on things that we can't figure out. Let's move on. Immediately after they found out where Quando Rondo was, they were in a rush to get to LA. They were booking flights immediately, booking private jets, booking cars, booking everything immediately and recruiting whoever they could recruit to get to LA on go. Now, the reason why they were in such a rush to get to LA was because co-conspirator one, who's listed as the head honcho, put out a bounty on Quando Rondo's head because of the conflict that led to King Von being killed. Co-conspirator one is obviously Lil Durk. Lil Durk is the head honcho. Lil Durk is the one who put the bag up after King Von passed away because he's the one who got the bag to put up. And Lil Durk is the one who authorized the OTF credit cards. Is his label, is his company, and the OTF credit cards were used to book the flights for all the co-conspirators who made their way to LA to murder Quando Rondo. So they all got to LA. They all hurried and scurried to LA like ants. They got there. They got situated, got their firearms, got their ski masks, got their cars, everything they needed, hotels booked, and they were on the phone communicating in code about meeting up, and they all met up at Quando Rondo's hotel that they knew Quando Rondo was going to stay. Now, they just didn't know Quando Rondo's hotel. They also knew when Quando Rondo was going to leave the hotel and where Quando Rondo was going in his itinerary. So they're in the white BMW. Quando Rondo is obviously in the black Escalade. So they're literally stalking Quando Rondo, following him around, trailing him. Now, Quando Rondo is either very dumb, very stupid, or he hasn't been a street dude for too long, right? Because usually if I see a vehicle trailing me, and I'm a civilian, but if a vehicle is trailing me, I don't care if it's for 2 blocks, bro. Right? This is when I put the 4 right turns to a test, right? Or 3 right turns to a test. Because if I make 3 right turns and you're still behind me, bro, well, then you're following me because we just went in a. But Quando Rondo wasn't paying attention, probably in his phone talking to the host, and he missed it. So when Quando Rondo and them got to the gas station, probably looking for some gas, some Zaza, all right, a Swisher, you know, they got there, they parked. And then when they parked now, the OTF members parked in the alleyway, hopped out, and started busting at Quando Rondo. Now, Quando Rondo was inside the vehicle. His homie was out the vehicle. So his homie got hit. But Quando Rondo fortunately didn't get hit. So OTF members essentially missed their man. They got Quando Rondo's cousin, but they missed Quando Rondo and didn't really take out Quando Rondo. Now, afterwards, they went to a food spot to speak about exactly how the money is going to be paid out, how it's going to be divided, and who's getting what. And after this dinner, they all went back to Chicago. They all left immediately and went back to Chicago. Now, Lil Durk was in the clean, right? There was nothing tying Lil Durk to this other than the OTF credit cards. And Lil Durk made sure to let them boys know, hey, bruh, when you book it on plane tickets, bruh, even though you're using the OTF credit cards, do not book those tickets using any name that I'm associated to. Now, the reason why we know co-conspirator 1, aka Lil Durk, why he told that to co-conspirator 3, the unidentified co-conspirator who's probably cooperating, the reason why he told that person that was because that person was who booked the private jet for OTF Diddy. And Dirk is making that person know, hey, bro, don't book that private jet under my name, my family name, or anybody associated with me, bro. Keep me completely out of this 100%. So when everybody got back, OTFDD was who received the payments, and he's the one who was tasked with making sure everybody got paid and everybody was settled. So Lil Durk don't get involved, and Lil Durk can be completely out of this. The plan almost worked, but like most empires that fall, bruh, niggas started snitching. And that takes us to our guy called OTF Jam. OTF Jam was arrested at 17 years old for an attempted murder, and he spent 12 years in prison and got out March of 2022, a couple months before Quando Rondo's cousin, Lil Pop, was murdered. It's currently unclear exactly what OTF Jam's role was in this Lil Pop murder, but what we do know is OTF Jam was affiliated some way, somehow. Now, after the murder, everybody got paid, everybody was good, everybody was having a good old time, and the feds essentially had zero leads. They didn't know where to go, and it felt like they were going to get away with this body. However, March of 2023, a couple months after the Lil Pop murder, March of 2023, OTF Jam was arrested for another gun case, right? An unrelated charge. He was arrested on a routine firearm charge. Now, when OTF Jam went to jail in March, OTF Jam said, "Hey, bro, I'm not about to do another 12 years. I'm tapped out." So the feds came to OTF Jam, had a conversation with him, and after that conversation, the feds had enough to build this RICO against the So OTF after Jam went bad and told, well, that right there was all the feds needed. And the feds got other people to start telling and start explaining exactly what happened and who called the hit and who was there and who took the trip and who paid for the credit cards. And the feds had everything they needed. Now, apparently, Lil Durk wasn't caught by surprise. Lil Durk already knew that OTF Jam had told. As a matter of fact, Lil Durk was expected for everybody to get arrested at his birthday bash concert in Chicago. Like, he was expecting for arrest to happen that night. They just didn't happen. Nobody got arrested. The feds probably was gonna wait for the peace treaty to happen, have the whole big moment. The feds probably thought, okay, that's probably too hot. Let's do it another day. And a day or two later, folks got arrested for the murder of Lil Pop. And to be honest, Lil Durk kind of told on himself as well. Lil Durk went on interviews talking about, I don't hear Slap Savannah no more. I wonder why. Lil Durk sampled Quando Rondo saying, no, no, crying after Lil Pop passed away on same side. Lil Durk is shouting out the California killers and shooters. Yo, Lil Durk calls this on himself. Now, I believe, well, the indictment, lays it out, bruh. Lil Durk is gonna get indicted as well. It's not a if, is a when. And when he does, man, this is gonna be used as just a lesson, man, to young black men in general, bruh. Ego isn't worth losing your life. Von's ego is why Von punched Quando Rondo, and that led to Von losing his life. And because Von ego got in his way, Lil Durk is potentially gonna lose his rap career and lose the rest of the time he has left on earth and have to spend it in a jail cell. Think about it for a second, bruh. Just think about it for a second, bruh. King Von has lost his life. Lil Durk is probably going to go to jail for the rest of his life. And then 5 other members are currently indicted, but there's more. 5 are currently indicted. So potentially 7 people are losing their lives over Quando Rondo. And they're about to do life in prison. Oh, and they got the wrong person. They ain't even take out Quando Rondo. Well, you mean to tell me that Quando Rondo agitation, Quando Rondo dissing, Quando Rondo being a pest is worth us losing King Von and Lil Durk? Oh, it's just dumb. Now, Durk, man, good luck, all right? Now, I heard, right, that the Muslims, all right, have it good in prison. So, Durk should be good. All right, now, Durk, hey, bro, please, bro, don't send the goons and the wolves to come and kill me again, bro. You feel me? The last time I spoke on Durk, bro, Durk had 2 goons at the No Jumper store in LA on Melrose looking for Flacco. We have it on camera. That's a fact. So, hey, bro, I'm just a journalist, homie. Please don't send the wolves to come and get me again, bro. You feel me? Hey, bro, because I'm not Quando, bro. Listen, I'm snitching day one. Whack 100 and Brick Baby has been beefing for a pretty long time now, but this Lil Durk situation has sort of taken their beef from a local LA thing to they're now beefing on the main stage and the world is watching. Now, their beef is starting or reigniting on the world stage because Whack 100 has been going from platform to platform, accusing Brick Baby of being a snitch in a Lil Durk case. So, in this Lil Durk case, there's a couple of co-conspirators that haven't been named. One of those people being co-conspirator 4, who they claim is a local LA dude who gave the drop to Lil Durk and OTF. Whack 100 believes that person is Brick Baby because the person who will know that information will only know it if Quando Rondo told them or checked in with them when he got to LA. Now, usually if you are an artist with gang affiliations, you check in to your gang when you get to a particular city if your gang is home to that particular city. And the person who told Lil Durk and OTF Quando Rondo's location, they knew the hotel he was staying at, they knew his schedule for the day, they knew how armed he was, they knew pretty much everything about Quando Rondo, and you wouldn't know that unless you're tapped in with Quando Rondo.
I understand that, but the Lil Pop murder, which was supposed to be the Quando Rondo murder, was a retaliation to King Von getting killed.
For that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, who's the first one to get mentioned of that?
What do you mean?
One of your guests. We all thought that was a bad drug deal, weed deal. You know that. The world thought that that shooting was a bad weed deal between some Armenians or Persians. That's what the world thought.
Huh. Okay.
And it wasn't until February of 2023 that Brick Baby goes on the internet with Flacco and says, Brick Baby goes on the show and says, I guess they can't say OTF didn't slide for King Von anymore. And Flacco says, well, what are you talking about? He said, yeah, the shooting. They slid for King Von.
Whack 100 is partly right in terms of street dudes and gangsters in LA was telling media personalities and podcasters off the record that Durk ain't had nothing to do with Quando Rondo and Lil Pop getting shot up, and that it was the plug, that Lil Pop owed the plug, and the plug put a bag on Lil Pop head, and the dudes who killed Lil Pop came up close and reached over Quando Rondo and killed Lil Pop and ran off, so it couldn't be Lil Durk. Now, it's unclear if these street dudes were just misinformed or if they were lying on behalf of Lil Durk. Because Lil Durk putting that narrative out there in the streets of LA could very well be a psyop, right? It could be Lil Durk putting that message out there, trying to pretty much trick people into thinking that he's not involved. So when Brick Baby said that, I feel like that was the first time an LA gangster gave an alternative story. However, the Brick Baby story of, yo, we can't say Slavovano no more because Durk and them already slid, that wasn't a theory that was brand new. No, that was a theory that was already out there by the fans. The fans was already posting about it on Reddit and even implicating Brick Baby in that theory. So the theory itself wasn't new, but it was new to LA because everybody from LA thought they had the scoop.
OTF.
Yeah.
Now, that's February. March, the feds get on Brick. We don't know this. Jump to June 2023. Feds come to Brick Baby's house. We get the report. I'm screaming, Brick Baby just got picked up by the feds. What's happening? When your court date? Right? We're under the presumption that it's an AK-47 case. But what really happened was they came there to get his cell phone.
I think this goes without saying, but Whack 100 is one of the most talented orators we've ever had in our community. Because I know firsthand that Brick Baby had nothing to do with this Lil Durk situation. I know Brick Baby didn't snitch. I know Brick Baby didn't tell. I know Brick Baby didn't drop Quando Rondo's location. But hearing Whack 100 speak, he's so great at just speaking, right? And just proving his point that I'm listening like, did Brick Baby have something to do with this? But then I stop listening and stop being under the trance, and I say, nah, like of course not. Brick is not involved. But Whack 100 theory is Brick Baby was ran up on by the feds. They ran up in his crib looking for his cell phone. They found a few guns in his crib, and they gave him a gun charge. But the main goal was to find that phone and to flip Brick Baby. And after they found the phone and found a correspondence between Brick Baby and Lil Durk, Whack 100 believes that Brick Baby began cooperating. And Whack 100 will say that proof that Brick Baby gave Quando Rondo's location is what Quando Rondo did after he left LA.
Right? If you go in there and look at that report, number 4 is a local guy that was dropping Quando's locations.
Oh.
Slow down. Number 4 is a local guy that was dropping Quando's locations. Now, after the murder, when Quando went back to Georgia, what did he immediately do?
Dropped his flag?
There it goes. What was he claiming?
Roll 60 script.
Where Brick Baby from?
Roll 60 script.
What you think the police told Quando?
That the Roll 60s set him up?
Who you think he checked in with?
Roll 60s?
With who?
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
I'm not going to. Here's what's working against Brick Baby. Brick Baby is a LA gang member. People don't trust LA dudes. People think that LA dudes are untrustworthy, they're slimy, and they're a backdoor artist. Brick Baby may not be slimy. He may be trustworthy. He may not be a backdoor artist, but people will automatically think he is because he's an LA guy who a lot of rappers check in with. So they automatically think, okay, those type of dudes, they're backdoor artists. But Brick Baby is also smart enough to realize the attention that comes with people thinking that you dropped Quando Rondo's location. So Brick Baby isn't even too upset that people think that he's involved in dropping Quando Rondo's location and being involved. Brick Baby just doesn't want people to think that he's a snitch, which is why when he hopped on the phone with Remo from No Jumper, Brick Baby, right, would say, yo, I didn't snitch. That's false. But then when it comes to confirming or denying dropping the location, Brick Baby will sort of play with the audience and sort of play on their beliefs because he doesn't think it's a bad thing that people think that he's involved. He just doesn't want to be painted as a snitch.
Maybe because the whole world was saying that I did it.
Yeah. So, all right, they saying, all right, because there's like 4 people who they don't know who, like, I think they conspirator 1 was Durk, or I think they think it's Durk. They're saying that conspirator 4 is someone that's local to LA that dropped the location, and everybody's trying to say that you dropped the low on Pop and Quando to Durk. That's what they were saying on the academic stream, or people were alluding that you had dropped.
That ain't telling. You hear what I'm saying? Like, shit, we talk about telling. All the other shit, that's for the feds to keep on doing their job, bro. You get what I'm saying? I don't know about that shit right there you talk about. Straight up.
But that's what they said. That's what they saying.
Brick Baby understood the unfortunalities of the internet, which is people don't care about the truth if the lie is more entertaining. So Brick Baby understands there's no point in clearing up the lie. Right? If the lie is going to help you out as well, ain't no point in clearing it up. So Brick understands, hey, listen, if people think I'm this savage, I'm this cutthroat dude who's involved in a Lil Pop murder and is going to raise my interview prices up, is going to get me a lot more publications, a lot more posts about myself, why clear it up? The only thing I want to clear up are the things that could hurt me, which is people thinking I'm a snitch. So he clears up the snitch part, but he says, hey, listen, man, I'm going to let the fans think what they want to think about who dropped the location for Lil Pop. And he laughs and smirks a little bit because that's just Brick Baby, right? Now, what Brick Baby realized, though, shortly after that particular clip started to go viral is, like, you can't have it, like, both ways, right? people are gonna think you are a snitch if you don't clear up the fact that you didn't drop Lil Pop's location, because the person who dropped Lil Pop's location is also cooperating. So Break Baby was forced to then come on academic stream and just drop his proof of why he didn't drop Lil Pop's location and why he can't be involved.
Okay, November 6, 2020, co-conspirator number 4 was in a conversation, had a conversation with Durk. There's no way possible it was me, because on November 6, 2020, I was in jail. You get what I'm saying? So that clears me out of that. You know what I mean? Like, just that. One of my fans pointed towards that to make it smoother and to the point. It's no way that it was me. And then I wouldn't be sitting here shaking. I'd be somewhere else, nigga, tucked up, trying to be, you know what I mean? I'd be out the way. It ain't no way possible I'm gonna just sit here and be this bold.
Hey, I'm glad you said that. So to chat, we have the indictment up on the screen, and this is page 6 of 21 of the original indictment. If you go to Overt Act 1, it says, following the killing of Davon Bennett on or about November 6th, co-conspirator 1 used coded language, and this was in 2020, told defendant Didi, co-conspirator 2, 4, and 5, that he would pay a bounty or monetary reward to anyone who took part in the killing of Quando Rondo. So you're saying you're in jail?
I'm in jail. I get released 2 days before Thanksgiving that year. So like 3 weeks later, I get released.
Break Baby should have cleared this up from the very beginning, because Break Baby not clearing it up and allowing the news to sit of him being involved allowed room for people to be super analytical and analyze everything he did. Like, because Break Baby didn't clear this up from the very beginning, people were on Twitter doing millions of impressions saying that Break Baby looks suspicious when announcing and talking about the OTF indictments.
I think you've exceeded our expectations.
That's
so.
right. No, you're dealing with, this is a professionals. Yeah, you're dealing They with. may not act like it in the chat. Professionals.
There
it is. She got QR codes. She got QR.
Oh, Alex, that is so funny.
Wait, so
that's like the little Vegas shit back in the day. Right. Vegas, and they just all over the floor with numbers and shit to call. That's that new shit.
Wait, they got charged by the Fed?
Nothing like it pops up.
Let's go real quick. Good luck.
They got charged by the Feds.
Hey, money, you're the man, but I really appreciate meeting you. I really appreciate meeting you.
Thank
you.
That looks really bad, but that could be a multitude of reasons. It could be Break Baby is probably high. You feel me? Probably been sipping all morning, bro. Probably trying to figure out what's going on. Or it could be Break Baby, is really close friends with Lil Durk and some OTF members. And just finding out that people who you are friends with, people who you are fond of, your homies, have been indicted by the feds, it could be a stressful thing. And he could be having a natural reaction to a stressful moment. So people automatically taking that though and assuming, yo, he guilty, bro. Bro, look at this, yo. Bro, he's stressing over here. It's because Break Baby didn't clarify it up immediately. So when people see any type of weird or odd reaction, they automatically think, okay, he's involved and that's why he's acting like this. One person who's not convinced of Break Baby's innocence is Wack 100. Because Wack 100 and Break Baby would take to Academics live stream, and Wack 100 would outright call out Break Baby for being involved.
Hold on, Brick. Are you telling me you didn't ask him any questions and you didn't answer no questions when they took you in custody on June 23rd, 2000?
I didn't say I didn't answer no questions. You just want to keep building, nigga. On 6 nigga. I know you said, did I ask about my phone, bro? You said, did I ask about my phone? No, I did not.
They gave you a reason why they arrested you, right? They gave you a reason why they arrested you, right?
They never gave me a reason that they arrested me until I was getting booked in to 77th Street, and they said, this is what you fighting, and this is your bill, brother.
Brian, you're talking about you got kill squad outside. You said in that on no jumper. You said there's not me that you was. I don't know how wacky you know it.
I'm done talking about me and all that shit that you mad that I'm not in jail for.
No, nigga, you identify OTF as the shooters, academics. And
You want me in jail? We see that.
It's kind of good though. Brick Baby and Whack 100 are sort of like airing this out publicly, because if Brick Baby sort of took the stance of, man, I'm not going to pay attention to that, man. We gonna find out who really snitched when trial starts. No, it'll be too late. If I'm Brick Baby, I'm taking this exact same approach, right? I am publicly confronting those rumors, because if I take the approach of, oh, I'm gonna wait until trial comes and my name is gonna be exonerated, bro, nobody is gonna care about the truth. Ooh, if the lie has been out there for 2 years now and it has been spread, nobody is gonna care that court comes and we find out, okay, Brick Baby is not the mole. He ain't the one who dropped the location. It'll be too late. Like, too many people would have already heard the lie, and nobody would know the truth when the truth comes out. So, like, I'm just glad that they're both sort of like airing out their positions online. And then when trial starts, we will find out who's telling the truth. And we would apologize to whoever, we called a liar. So if you don't believe Brick Baby, then you would have to apologize to Brick Baby if he's right. And if you don't believe Whack 100, then you would have to apologize to Whack 100 if he's right when trial starts, man. Y'all let me know in the comment section exactly what you guys think, man. And if you're still watching this video, man, click on.
Salute to our family, LD Murray, for the donation to the war chest. Revolution is a way of life. Absolutely appreciate the love, family. Salute. All right, let's take a look at a short little version of the curse of this little demon, Durk. This is a very dark soul individual, y'all.
Lil Durk is one of the OG Chicago drill rappers and has maintained his relevance longer than almost anyone else from that area. But being at the top comes with its dark side, and all the beat that has helped Durk sell albums and increase his popularity has also led to the death of many people who are close to him. News broke out last week that his older brother, D-Thang, was killed in front of a nightclub in Harvey, Illinois, a city just outside of Chicago.
The brother of local rapper Lil Durk is dead after shooting at a club in Harvey this weekend.
Although D-Thang's killers are still on the loose and there's no proof that his murder had anything to do with Durk, fans automatically assume that D-Thang was another casualty in the ongoing war in Chirac. D-Thang is far from the person Durk has lost since blowing up. In the past decade, he's had to mourn the deaths of his cousin Newski, his manager Chino, his close friend King Von, his producer Turn Me Up Josh, and now his older brother. Wild rumors on the internet have accused Durk of being cursed or even sacrificing his own friends and family members to secure wealth and power for himself. But the truth is likely much simpler. When you build a career off of being a savage and dissing your ops at any chance you get, eventually they're going to want payback. When they can't get to you, they're going to go after whoever's closest to you. And it seems like D-Thang was just the latest victim in the endless cycle of violence that haunts Chicago and every other hood in America. Let's take a closer look at Lil Durk's career and all the unfortunate losses he's encountered during his rise to fame. Durk grew up surrounded by violence and gangs in the south side of Chicago. His father, Dante Banks, was arrested and sentenced to life in prison when the rapper was just 7 months old for being part of a major drug distribution ring. Growing up, the artist had to take on many adult responsibilities to help his family. He started making music and building a fan base on MySpace and YouTube while he was still in high school. But after getting his girlfriend pregnant at just 17 years old, he was forced to drop out. After that, he joined the Black Disciples and supported his family through street activities. He continued to make music and build a fan base, but started getting into trouble with the law and was arrested several times for gun charges while he was on the come up. If you've been following our coverage of the Chicago drill scene, you know that the BDs are currently at war with the Gangsta Disciples, as well as several other sets in the area. The rise of drill only added fuel to the fire in these violent beefs, and throughout his career, Durk has lost people close to him just because of tensions in the city. On May 31st, 2014, Durk's cousin OTF Nunu, or Newski, was shot and killed while sitting in the car. Newski was also a rapper who was signed to Durk's OTF record label. He just started blowing up in the city with the track OC, which also featured Durk. But before he could really enjoy the success, he was gunned down while sitting in one of Durk's SUVs outside a shopping complex. Newski's death was rumored to be retaliation for the killing of another rapper named Lil Mark. Lil Mark was a rapper who was associated with the 051 Money Gang, a set of the Mickey Cobras and Black P Stones who are known to beef with the BDs. In March 2014, Lil Mark dropped a track called No Competition, which was a remix of Durk's song Competition and contained disses of many well-known BDs in Chicago. 3 days after dropping the track, Lil Mark was shot and killed while standing outside a bus stop. After Mark was killed, many of the BDs who he dissed on the song would go on social media and mock his death, something that has become a common theme in drill music. Durk was one of them, and he recorded a video of himself at the bus stop where Lil Mark was killed, laughing and saying that the bus stop was a real famous place.
Hey, this bus stop right here though, this is a real famous place, you hear me?
It's a real famous place.
Not long after, OTF Nunu was killed, and many say it was payback for Lil Mark's death and all the disrespect that followed. Less than a year later, after Newski was killed, Durk's close friend and manager, OTF Chino, was killed in a similar situation where he was sitting in a car in the Avalon Park neighborhood of Chicago. It's not exactly clear why Chino got killed, but the word on the street is that the same person who shot Newski was also responsible for Chino's death. Both hits were credited to an 051 Money Gang member named 051 Melly. Melly was a true savage and one of the most feared shooters in Chirac history. A few days before Chino was killed, Durk had dropped a remix of Chief Keef's Finito, where he dissed 051 rapping, "I'm riding through the ops, finna go and shoot Young Money up." 051 Melly clearly wasn't feeling the diss and posted a video to social media calling Durk a fake gangster. Not long after that, Chino was killed. 051 Melly would eventually be killed at a house party in 2019 over an unrelated beef, while Durk would continue to build momentum in the music industry. So the violence started to die down for a while, at least when it came to people close to Durk. But that would all change after the rapper entered the second phase of his career and teamed up with a childhood friend and fellow BD, King Von. The Chicago drill scene started to die down in the late 2010s as all the hot rappers would end up dead, in jail, or just move away from the streets. Other drill scenes in cities like London and New York started to attract fans of the genre as well. Although Durk was still relevant and successful in the industry, he has even admitted that he started to fall off in the mid-2010s. He had embraced more of an auto-tune R&B sound with tracks like My Beyonce, featuring Dej Loaf, and he abandoned the drill sound that made him popular in the first place. So many of his OG fans started to stop listening to him and focus their attention on new rappers. But rather than give up, Durk got back to his roots and started releasing mixtapes that returned to a harder, street-oriented sound. He left Def Jam in 2018 and started to focus on building his own brand, OTF. Around that time, King Von, Durk's childhood friend, and another street legend from Chicago, was released from prison after beating a murder charge. He would eventually sign to Durk's label and released a single Crazy Story in December 2018, which immediately went viral. Von was a pretty wild dude and well known in Chicago for being a respected shooter. Taking Von under his wing earned Durk tons of attention from rap fans across the country, but it also tied him back into the street drama that had claimed the lives of his cousin and manager. At the same time that Von was starting to take off, another rapper from Chicago named FBG Duck was also making some noise in the industry. FBG Duck was affiliated with the GDs and was one of O-Block's and OTF's biggest rivals. Durk and Duck had been dissing each other for years, so with Von back on the streets and Duck starting to build a name for himself in the industry, the beef only got worse. In July 2020, FBG Duck will release a track called Dead, where he disrespects multiple dead members of O-Block and other BDs. Less than a month later, Duck was shot and killed while out shopping in the upscale Gold Coast neighborhood. But in Chicago, the beef doesn't stop when you're dead, and Durk would only continue to diss Duck every chance he could get. He even went as far as naming a song after the dead rapper on his album The Voice called Should've Duck. But it wouldn't be long before Durk would be grieving another member of his team, and in November 2020, King Von was shot and killed outside a hookah lounge in Atlanta.
King Von was killed during a shootout between two groups outside a hookah lounge in downtown Atlanta Friday morning.
Von's death had nothing to do with Durk or any old street beef in Chicago. He was killed after getting into a fistfight with rapper Quando Rondo. According to rumors, Von had gotten into it with NBA Youngboy after he allegedly slept with Youngboy's baby mama, Jania. Rondo was signed to NBA Youngboy's label and known to take responsibility and action for his beefs. So when Rondo and King Von saw each other that night, things got out of hand and Von ended up dead. King Von was a well-respected and loved figure in the streets of Chicago, and his death was a huge loss, not just for Durk, but the entire city and rap community. Crazy rumors started going around that Durk sacrificed Von because he was scared that his friend might outshine him in the music industry and take his spot. But the reality is that Von was really about that life, and when you're still moving a certain way, no amount of money or fame can protect you from the consequences. Durk has continued to honor Von's legacy and featured him on the cover of his 2020 album, The Voice, with the caption, "Long live grandson," Von's nickname on the streets. Even though Quando Rondo wasn't the one who actually fired the shot that killed Von, the BDs have let it be known that they're holding the rapper responsible. Durk even went as far as purchasing every table at a club that Rondo was set to perform at in Atlanta, and the show had to be canceled. But Durk didn't let the loss of his friend stop his hustle, and in 2021 alone, he's already dropped a deluxe edition of The Voice, as well as a collaborative project with Lil Baby called The Voice of the Heroes. So far, the new project is a hit, but it seems like Lil Durk is back to his old ways, dissing ops both dead and alive. On the track Still Running, featuring Meek Mill, fans believe that Durk dissed not only Youngboy and Quando Rondo, but also FBG Duck. A leaked clip of the song that surfaced online before the project dropped, which made the internet go crazy. Durk responded to the alleged diss saying, "I never said a lame name, stop lying on me." But it's pretty clear he's trying to get at someone on the track, even if he didn't call anyone out by name. Just 2 days after the project was released, Durk's brother D-Thang was shot and killed outside of Club O in Harvey, Illinois, a city about 30 minutes from the south side of Chicago. According to witnesses, D-Thang had been at the club all night and was leaving around 1 a.m. He got into a verbal fight with a group of men outside the club, which resulted in him getting shot in the head. D-Thang passed away almost immediately at just 32 years old. A week before D-Thang was killed, Durk's go-to producer, Turn Me Up Josh, also passed away. The details of his death are not clear, but but Durk himself confirmed the news on Twitter saying, "RIP, turn me up Josh, SMH." So the rapper had lost another 2 people close to him in just a span of a week. D-Thing was Durk's older brother and had always been an influential person in the rapper's life, with his father locked up for his whole childhood. D-Thing supposedly convinced Durk to invest more of his money into other businesses outside of rap and helped him purchase a trucking company. That way, Durk could eventually get out of the spotlight and avoid all the drama that comes with being a famous drill rapper. But unfortunately, that day didn't come quickly enough, and it seems like D-Thing fell victim to the same cycle that claimed the lives of Chino and Newski. The police have not arrested anyone or announced any information yet regarding D-Thing's death. So it's possible the shooting had nothing to do with Durk, but it doesn't seem like D-Thing was robbed, so it's hard to think of what kind of motive the killers would have other than retaliation, especially because the shooting happened just outside of Chicago. What separates drill from other subgenres of hip-hop is the blatant disrespect of ops, especially the dead. It's also what seems to be fueling the violence behind it. At this point, Durk has enough money and connections to move smart and avoid any situations that may put him in danger. But not everyone around him has that kind of money or the mindset to be on guard 24/7. As long as he keeps up with the dissing, everyone around him is a target. The ops aren't just going to let up just because they can't get to Durk, so they're just going to hit up whoever they can get that matters to him. And even though Durk is at the top of his career, he still doesn't have the time or resources to make sure that his people are protected at all times. That's unfortunately what comes with being a hot drill rapper. A big part of what gets sales and plays is street image and backing that up with disses. Durk is a businessman, and he probably noticed that when he was doing pop and R&B tracks, the sales weren't great. But when he started hopping back on drill beats and talking about his ops, his career was suddenly going somewhere. The only problem with this is the fact that your fans only want more and more. But the longer you keep it up, the more you put yourself and the people around you at risk. Hopefully, Durk can take some time to reflect on his brother's death and go in a new direction with his music. At this point, he's a multimillionaire and doesn't need to keep beefing with dudes in the street who have nothing to lose. But then again, the more blood that's spilled, the harder it is to escape the cycle, and it may be too late for Durk to change his ways now.